Westgate.
Hello and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 26th of March 2017. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
It's a new season.
And Robert Kemp.
The Westgate, the season 8.
What a season. Exactly.
Oh, what a season.
Season 8. Wow.
We've
6
got a lot
seasons
of
and a
important
movie.
stuff.
We've gone
We've
way
got a lot
over
of
that.
important stuff lined up for this season. It's going to be a biggie.
Well, I guess. There's going to be like several Switch games, I suppose.
It's going to be
Zelda just barely missed the window for being this season.
We've got about a year's worth of content.
Coming up
Well,
over the next
if you call the amount of content we put out a year's worth of anything, really.
We're true.
It's quite a lot, I think. It's fortnightly podcasts, videos up the yin yang, up the YouTube.
Fortnightly yin yangs.
Exactly.
Oh, it is actually up the yin yang, isn't it? Our yin is the podcast and the yang is the video.
Exactly.
Sure.
It's our TikTok.
Just like Intel.
Yeah, you heard us. We're as big as Intel, baby. Or at least we're as mentally unstable.
Why are you bashing on Intel by comparing them to us?
I think Intel and Mentel were just...
That is real bad.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Apparently Rob is more mentally unstable than Intel.
I'm pretty sure that's what just happened in my head anyway.
Okay. Well, now that we've established that, what's going on?
What's going on is that some random bit of music has played leading us into this, of which we do not yet know.
Well, no, season 8 music. We should do a collection of all of the intros.
What, you reckon I should... No, surely I should save that for like
do it
season
the
10.
laziest way possible and just like take all of them and just cut them into 10-second chunks and just stitch them together.
Yeah, sure.
Be completely abrupt and horrible.
Yeah.
We should do that after we've done 10 seasons.
Yes, clearly our 10-year
Right.
anniversary is
In
going to
2
be an
years.
incredibly big deal.
It's going to be a massive deal.
It'd be a rave. Well, that intro would be quite long at that point, because you think I would have to clip like a bar of music from each one.
Yes. You only do it once, the first episode of season 10.
That'd be quite a mess. Just thinking about it. Just thinking how many styles we've had already.
You'd have to have a clip of the original song from like 99 or whatever.
Or just use the original song. Just put that in for
Oh,
season 10.
yeah. One of you's actually got that.
Yep, I do.
Okay, good.
What year would you say that was? Music for the PlayStation?
Man, I don't even know. 97?
Yeah, it's got to have been somewhere
Wow,
around.
20-year anniversary of Happy Salad, the song.
The Happy Salad has been a thing for that long.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Because I suppose you wouldn't have called that song that if the Happy Salad must have existed before the song even.
Well, no, didn't we
98.
name the song Happy Salad simply for 98? Okay, not far off. Simply because there was that happy face in there, we made it green, and there was the Happy Salad.
I don't know, was it though? Because Dan made the actual Happy
Oh,
Salad.
yeah, that's for Happy Salad thing.
That's got to have been close
No,
to
I
the
based
same
that on
time,
the
if not
song.
before.
No, it was after. It was inspired by the song. So that is the origin. You guys came up with Happy Salad for that song, and I
And what, it's
made
like
it our
we
brand
have to
later.
question Rob's like, why did he decide to have the salad theme for that song?
I
But
just
no, I
remember
did-
your
your
salad.
salad eat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
such.
I think we put that on afterwards. I think after discovering the happy face spinny thing, and then we made it green for some reason. And then it's
Why does that equate to salad?
like that texture looks a little bit salady. I think might have come across.
Okay.
The origin of the name. Now you know, folks. Thanks, Codemasters.
It was something like that. Anyway, I can't really remember. I was reading an old Sonic the Comic earlier.
Yeah.
As you do.
This is a terrible segue.
What, like a physical copy?
Yeah, but they had like a review section in there. Or no, it was a cheat code section
Of course.
for Mega Drive games. And there was one bit where they were talking about cheat codes for Super Skid Marks. And I think they made a mistake because they said like that game was made by Codemasters, and it's like it totally wasn't. I'm pretty sure it was made by Acid Software.
Oh.
I found a bit like the one bit of information I read from that magazine was factually incorrect.
You should write in and complain.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like STC isn't running anymore.
I don't know, it might be.
Really?
Not this version of it.
Well,
Anyway,
no.
the Archie comic is still running.
Sure.
Like the American one. But
Really?
This was the UK one, and I don't think that runs anymore.
Ah. Is there a Sonic the Webcomic?
Officially, probably not.
No,
Unofficially,
No.
millions.
Millions.
you just have
And
to
they're
go on
all
DeviantArt.
adult. Yeah.
Yep, and you'll see all the good stuff.
Well, no, I mean, like 50% of them will be pixel and terrible.
You reckon?
50. Well, I mean,
Well, just
they'll all
using
be
the
real
sprites
old
from
at
the
this
game.
point as well. It will be during the 8-bit theatre craze of pixel art webcomics that happened
I suppose.
when people thought that they could. People looked at the one success and thought, "I can do that too," and it's like, yeah, but you're not going to be successful at it. As with everything in life, really.
I realised the other day that I haven't actually checked in with any webcomics for a very long time. So I went
No.
and had a look at Penny Arcade, and they've changed their art style again.
At least several times since you last
Yeah.
read, probably.
And I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think I prefer the one they had 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The new one's a little bit too red-nosed. All
Only
noses
sometimes.
are red now.
Only sometimes. I think that's just because it's winter.
And
That's an indication for coldness.
it's more round than it used to be.
Sure.
I think the only one I read now is Dinosaur Comics, and that has the same art style
Yeah,
forever.
that's not even
Not
really
art
a
style,
comic.
or-
Hmm.
no,
It's
it's
just
just
like words.
text. Yeah. Funny text.
You don't even read XKCD or whatever.
Not really. I got a bit.
I'll occasionally see one of those come up because it was
Well, yeah.
because it was
'Cause it was
notable,
relevant.
to something going on, and
As they
Yeah.
often are.
or it were because I read all the Code Project newsletters and stuff, and they occasionally put relevant webcomics in their thing now.
I started
just to tag
reading
one.
that webcomic name. Have you come across that?
No,
Where the punchline is always "Oh no."
Oh, no.
It's meant to be a meta
all
webcomic originally. Taking the piss out of webcomics in general,
Yeah,
or
as you do.
the ones that appear on Reddit anyway. But it's just like yeah, I'd recommend that webcomicname.com because of course they couldn't have a name, so they just call it webcomicname.com. And,
Well, I
and
used to read a webcomic that was called Untitled.
right,
The classic.
Yeah, weirdly, that seems less original than webcomic name.
it's actually
I'm-
genuinely pretty funny webcomic name. I recommend it highly.
Insert webcomic name here would have been equally uninspired. Just webcomic name seems alright.
And the art style is just sort of blobs with faces, so it's like really. Anyway, yeah, check that one out.
If it's blobs with faces, does that mean there's a cameo by Poland Ball?
Oh no,
Fair.
they're sort of human shapes. They have arms and legs, but are otherwise blobby. Anyway, check
Alright.
that out.
Okay, webcomic name. Yeah, it was weird. It still seemed, the Penny Arcade writing was still on par.
Sure. Although it's not quite so much about video games any longer.
No, I did notice that.
But that's fine too.
Things happen.
There's enough video games in there
Yeah.
that it still works.
I looked up Mega Tokyo, and that hasn't changed. What a
No,
Wait, that's
surprise!
still going?
I know. I was really
Wow.
It's like understanding what the shit is going on at this point, though.
my favorite thing is that the infamous character section of the website is still not done after 15 years or however fucking long it is.
Yeah, webcomics always have problems with the non-comic stuff, where it's like, we uploaded this once when we first made this comic, and now it's just going to stay there forever because we never get around to updating.
Yeah.
Well, let me check it again because it did make me laugh. So if you go to Megatoken and you click on characters, it says, all right, I still don't feel like finishing this, but whatever, I'll do at some point in fall 2007. And it says, believe it or not, this page is in production and will be incorporated into the new
Believe it
site
not.
launch.
Believe it not.
So
Yeah,
it's been 10 years since he updated the page to say, yes, I know this is taking a long time. Anyway,
That sounds like most fan game projects if I've ever heard it. It's like, yeah, we're still working on this. Honest.
yeah.
That's a point. I haven't checked in on Sonic 2 HD for a while.
Well, speaking of Sonic, There's some
Wow,
news.
that's a quick news segue, right? We're just getting straight on. We'll have to just intersperse random in the middle of all this.
We've
Sure.
probably got to talk about Zelda quite a lot, so maybe it's best to move things forward.
I ain't got nothing to talk about this week, so let's get
So what's going on with Sonic?
They've announced what Project 2017 actually is.
Yeah, really terrible name.
It's Sonic Forces. Feel the excitement.
Of course, this is a Advance
Sonic
Wars style tactical
Yeah,
Sonic
that'd be
game.
much cooler.
No, actually, what's happened is that them and Star Wars have done a.
Yep, also would be cooler.
What?
Oh no! Sonic Forces Unleashed. See what we
The
did
Force
there?
Unleashed
Yeah.
and Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah,
That would be
it'd basically be the werehog with lightning.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so good. Oh, not.
No, probably not.
Yeah, but it's basically the Sonic Colors and Sonic. They make a big deal of it being the Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations guys.
Because it's fairly
Because they're the
obviously-
games that people like.
fairly
And
obviously functions in a similar way.
yeah, they're making more of that style of game, and that's okay with me.
The thing that I found interesting is like when you're watching the little trailer footage, you can see that he picks up wisps as a power up
Yeah.
for his boost meter because they're white wisps.
Oh yeah,
And
but
it's like
it's still that capture.
yeah, it's still the wisp capsule, which is interesting because they like that theoretically means it's a direct sequel to Colors, I guess, if the wisps still exist.
Well, by the fact that they've got classic Sonic in it, in theory, it's a direct sequel to both Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations.
Yeah, I guess.
The wisps being in it is a bit odd, if you ask me, because I thought the whole thing with wisps was that their planet was supposed to have like floated back into space,
Yeah, like a planet wisp.
taking them with it. So what's going on?
Maybe it's the will of the wisps.
I mean,
But-
I suppose Eggman could have captured it some more, or travelled through time and unfreed them or something.
Because Robotnik seems to have done what you should have done from the start, right, and get pretty apocalyptic.
Yeah,
on
just
it.
build bigger robots.
Yeah,
Don't worry about hedgehog combat robots, just build ones that are really big.
and just blow up everything so you can conquer it that way.
Do you think that city is meant to be Spagonia again?
It looks a lot like it, doesn't it? It does look a lot like Spagonia. But then there's hints of it's really interesting actually. That trailer has that like 20 seconds of
not much
gameplay
them.
has like a couple of little interesting hints. Like you can see a somewhat knackered green hill zone in the background at one point. And it's with a loop and just there, like Spagonia has been built on the outsides of Green Hill Zone or something, or wherever this town is. and
Well, or that's pointing more to like it being a sequel to Generations.
Or, yeah,
where it's
like
like the
some kind
time
of-
streams emerging or something.
yeah, some kind of dimensional nonsense is happening. But it's cool nonetheless. I hope they don't go. Well, they re-put out that trailer that they showed before, just with the Sonic Forces name in it.
Yeah.
And watching that again, it was just like, ugh, there's something about this that feels a little too epic. This could go real bad.
Yeah.
So there's still that to worry about. But as long as as long as it retains some of the humour that lightheartedness they've had. It's that lighthearted nature they've had from the last few games that I want them to
Well,
keep.
not really in Generations, because Generations didn't have any.
Well, it didn't really have any
story
dialogue
or anything.
Yeah, but if it goes a bit more colorsy,
Humor in
then I'm happy.
Generations was Sonic looking vaguely confused and annoyed by like Charlie.
Yeah.
That's where the comedy was.
I kind of want them to just I say just, but re-releasing colours like on a 60 frames per second capable platform would be nice.
Sure.
That game's real good.
Yep.
Can we have a version of it that isn't a version that isn't hampered by hardware? Thing.
Be good on Switch, I'm sure.
Yeah, be a good Switch game.
Well, yeah, it would in theory, but it's just like. I mean, Nintendo want to re-release all their shit back onto the Switch, but does anyone else?
Well, that's been Sega don't really re-release. Well, I was about to say they don't really improve re-release Sonic games. They've done the they've re-released Sonic Adventure several times, but each time it seems a little bit worse rather than a little bit better. So maybe they shouldn't touch it.
I mean, maybe
they'll just make it worse.
Maybe Colors will come out on PC eventually.
Well, that'd be fantastic if they do. If that would fit into Sega's sort of current. Well, they sort of stopped, didn't they? They did Jet Set Radio, they did Valkyria Chronicles, and then they sort of stopped.
I wish they would do Jet Set Radio Future on Steam. That'd be so.
Oh
good.
my god, that'd be so good.
I'd be so happy.
Yeah. We've still got that Hover game, which is supposed to be like a spiritual Jet Set Radio game.
Never
But,
not going to be as good if it's spiritual.
Yeah, you can't do a spirit. No, that won't work.
I mean, it might be okay. But it won't be
Because
what you're looking for.
Yeah,
No.
'cause it's all about the style of it, as well as the gameplay.
It's all about somehow bringing all those characters back again.
Yeah.
Because, we have to make up bullshit stories for
And
our
getting-
weird skating.
And getting someone like Hideki Naganuma to do the soundtrack. That's
Yeah,
like,
you need
it's critical.
Naganuma.
It's critical.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's due. They've confirmed that is still due out holiday this year, so it's fitting that pattern. Everything's good. It looks all right. We might be on for a good Sonic game.
Well, yeah, I guess.
And they also
the trouble with
they're
it again is like the surrounding parts. Like the gameplay, the main level gameplay is probably fine, but then like how does it fit into the whole game as a whole? Is it going to be a weird Generations boring menu? Is it going to be some kind of regular ass Sonic game where you just select the next act?
Are they suddenly going to go, oh, we've got this other dimensional character we're throwing in that you don't care about? Here's what animal haven't they used?
Yeah, that's the trouble. Try and think of a single animal they haven't used.
Dog. I don't think they've actually used a dog.
They might have done. And providing you don't consider any of like the NPC characters off what's it called? The terrible Sonic game. I've forgotten already.
The terrible.
It's so
Sonic
bad, I've
game.
already forgotten.
You're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that. The terrible.
Rise of Lyric. There you go.
Oh right, okay. Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom. If you don't count any of the NPCs in that, because there's definitely at least one dog in the NPC cast of that game.
Oh, is there? Okay. And the badger.
Yeah.
They've had a badger now. They had a ferret. I don't suppose they've had a ferret. Probably haven't had a platypus.
They might have had a platypus.
Pete, the platypus.
Pete.
Pete. He wants some seeds.
What a peak.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Cool.
It looks like Generations insofar as the 20 seconds of level being played.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
It's modern. It's the good, the best end of modern Sonic's gameplay.
And
So,
they haven't shown anything of 2D Sonic yet.
No. So yeah, I don't know. We can hold out hope for now. And while
There's
that's
still
going
Sonic
on,
Mania. Yeah.
yeah, which they've ramped up the amount of footage coming out of them is now quite extreme. So it's like I'm on media blackout now because I accidentally saw that Flying Battery is a stage that's coming back, and
Wow, I mean, that's not necessarily that much of a spoiler. They said there was going to be like half of them were going to be classic stages. It's the same as Generations, where it's just like just speculate at what levels it's going to be.
oh sure,
and
but
then be weirdly disappointed by the weird ones that they chose.
But I'd rather not know, right? Flying Battery is a cool choice, though, in fairness. But I always quite liked that level from Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, it did look. I don't know if I watched that. I saw it, but I didn't watch it that closely. I don't think, but it looked like it was sort of a weird cross between Flying Battery and the one from Sonic 2, whatever that one was called,
probably.
Air Fortress or whatever
Yeah,
that level was called.
It probably would be, because it's kind of what they're doing here, isn't it? They're sort of mashing up the best bits of Sonic. So that game's out real soon. Get hype.
Sweet.
That's
Okay.
on the Switch, right?
That will be a Switch release, yes.
Good.
What else we got? Blizzard news. So Blizzard have
Sort of.
renamed Battle.net after God knows how long. When did that start? Probably.
Diablo 2?
Yeah, Diablo 2.
Or was it StarCraft 1?
No,
I'm not sure
I
it was
think it was
called
Diablo.
Battle.net until relatively recently, though.
no,
It's
it's
called
always
something
been
else
Battle.net.
before that, I think.
No, it's been Battle.net, isn't it? I don't think.
I thought it was that from the start.
Yeah. Now it's called Blizzard. Brilliant name. So that's just.
Are
the
you
Blizzard
on
online
Blizzard?
service.
Yeah, I'm on Blizzard.
Yeah.
It's a bit boring.
Well, are you on Blizzard?
I'm on Blizzard. I'm on BlizzardNet.
Yeah. It's weird because I don't think Valve have any. I suppose Valve and Steam, like, obviously those names are connected by
Yes,
sort of
thematically.
but I mean, no, I don't think they have any need to.
Yeah, clearly the Blizzard one should be called like Snowstorm or something, because that's literally what Blizzard is.
Yeah. Okay, some other kind of weather pattern.
Tundra could have been cool. I don't know.
I mean,
Iceberg.
that's just a cool name. Glacial. Right.
Yeah. Oh, no, if they had done
Colorado.
would I have been mad?
Yeah.
I said, well, you can't do that.
But no, it's just Blizzard. And in other Blizzard news, they have confirmed they're doing StarCraft Remastered, the original StarCraft.
I mean, we all knew it was happening, but yeah, they've now said it, and they put out some screen grabs as well, which
they've got
like StarCraft.
Yeah, they've got like one of those. Although it's with a video, so it's kind of cool. But they got one of those things where you can drag the slider across the image and switch between one and the other. Yeah, which is kind of cool. And
did they say anything about like the expansions for StarCraft?
I think they said those are included.
Brood War is in there, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
so
and that's the one everyone cares about.
Yeah, so I think it's probably in there. So yeah, it's just basically, as far as I can tell, it's like cleaned up graphics, pretty much. Yeah,
it's just it looks the same, but they've up-resed everything, and presumably they've had to up-res it by hand, you know. So
yeah, definitely, it's new art that's super faithful to the old art.
I guess we don't know if they've redone the cutscenes.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Or like the mission briefings.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It'd be nice if those were modified a bit, but maybe some fans would be like, "Oh, that takes away from what StarCraft was."
Well, that's why you need to do the classic remaster thing where you have the toggle between old and new.
Yeah. Did you want to see it in text and panel mode, or do you want to see these full dramatic cutscenes?
Full mode. I have your pizzas.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Are they going to include a way to make dumb edits and put your own voices in there saying stupid things?
The editor has to return. I have your pizzas.
I've totally forgotten about that.
No, you haven't, apparently.
No, well, yeah, I hadn't thought about it for a while, I mean. Yeah.
You can never forget.
Apparently I can't make games. That's what that tells us.
That wasn't you, that was Rick, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was Kippers' audio.
He was the voice actor.
Yeah,
right.
He was our voice actor.
No, it wasn't that you could make games. It was that at the time, none of us remembered that when you re-record something, you have to trim off the old recording so it doesn't overlap at the end of the file. That's what leads to Destroy Alien Mothership and Craft.
Craft.
Yeah, but so I can't remember what
was that. I was trying. Did we make that mistake?
Yeah,
yeah, because that was when we modified the sound effects to incoming.
Yeah,
because we said, I can't remember.
Kill 'em all and Craft.
Oh yeah, kill 'em all and Craft.
Kill 'em all and Craft.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, incoming. That was a weird game. It was good.
It'd be quite interesting to revisit incoming. Actually, it
was a weird, good, pure shooter. There weren't very many. Like
the Dreamcast version was surprisingly good. Is what I remember at the time. Like, you know, because it was one of those early 3DFX games. It was like, hey, look what we can do. These giant pink shockwaves.
Yeah, it had like rage explosions, the classic.
Yeah. And it was quite an interesting game. But there was the Dreamcast version actually then seemed to take that version and made it more controllable.
Right.
Like for if you remember the Dreamcast controller, it didn't even have a right stick, right? This was still one analog stick territory. But they made it work and they stripped, but the PC version of Incoming had that weird strategic mode as well.
Totally. Yeah,
that was all right.
That was
in its simplistic way. It was really hard, but it was you know, it would probably be more fun playing that game without it, in fairness, which you could do. There was a straight up option to play it in arcade mode that was the same game that just took those strategic bits out. Yeah, it's quite a smart game. It might be worth revisiting at some point.
So yes, StarCraft. What else? Super Mario Run. Nintendo apparently a bit disappointed in the sales, although they're releasing on Android now, so I'm sure that will bolster it. But
yeah, apparently they've made 6 million out of it thus far, and that's I think that's gross revenue. So it's that when they say gross revenue, is that like including expenses? Is that profit? I guess that's just takings, right?
I suppose. Doesn't seem stellar. I mean, it just had a huge, like the bit you could play before you paid was not long at all, and then when you did have to pay, it was very expensive. So it's like, yeah, maybe. And also the kind of onboarding process on it was really weird. It took ages to get into the game, which was kind of annoying for a mobile game.
Some Nintendo action.
Like it doesn't take any time to get into Super Mario Brothers. You just turn on your NES and go, pretty much.
In 1980,
yeah. It's a bit like, well, even like Miitomo and stuff like that. The loading times, especially on older devices, were a bit long as well. And Yeah, it's a very Nintendo-like product. It's like it's not a very mobile-like product.
Not really.
So I can tell you what that onboarding conversion rate was. Apparently, that was only 5% of players who tried the demo converted.
Yeah,
it's
I didn't.
No, I didn't, because I guess I played it and realized I'm not going to like this.
Exactly.
Compared to what it made me think, it's like I could be playing a proper Mario game.
Yes, because you've still got ones of those to do, I guess.
I don't think I do.
Well, you don't have, like, you've got things to complete in ones you've already played, not like new ones.
I guess, yeah. There's some.
If you wanted to.
There's secrets in Mario 2 on the DS I never found, and I think there's secrets on the Super Mario U I never found as well, but so I could go and do that stuff, but. Or get all the gold coins. I'm pretty sure I didn't 100% the gold coin ratio on either of those. If I could be arsed.
No. Just wait for them to release another one on Switch. Except not, apparently. Mario Odyssey is freeing us from the same game over and over.
Do you reckon that,
in theory.
They'll have to revisit the 2D pool, though, right?
Well, it would make sense for a 2D Mario to appear on the Switch, because it's kind of like a portable Game Boy style system. Yeah. But they can make a 3D Mario on there, so they're doing that first.
Do you reckon they'll do that first, or do you reckon there'll be another Mario Maker first? Or do you reckon they just give up on Mario Maker? Like I don't
think they will. I think it'll be back Mario Maker.
Can they replicate the success though? Is the thing?
Well, I mean, they can just make a new one of those and just put in all the options that people wanted. Where it's like, why is this not in here? Now we can put this in here, and it will be good. And it has a touch screen, so you can make stuff directly on it. And it has an internet connection, so you can download levels.
I guess, I guess it loses the social element that you got with the Wii U version, but because one person could be building and everyone else could see what they were doing. But
I mean, you can still put your Switch on a TV.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to use a touchscreen to build your levels.
Well, that's not that much of a problem.
I don't know. I think that's something of what made Mario Maker special. I think. But.
Or you could just dock and undock while you're building. You can have it on the touchscreen, and then you can be like, here's what we've made so far, and then you can dock it and show it off in full screen mode.
Yeah, maybe it's not quite the same, but I bet they will put another one out. What would they add though? What would they add that wasn't in? Well, I suppose none of us actually played Mario Maker.
Well, they could free up some of the limitations, like they could easily make the levels bigger, or like make you be able to have more different screens to transition to, or whatever. Make it a bit less limited in that sense, or include things for auto scrolling and vertical levels.
In some ways, some of those limitations are what make Mario Mario, though, right? Apart from being able to make ghost houses, I guess, but which are possibly the worst part of Mario games. Like, there's something about the simplicity of like, there's only ever going to be 2 or 3 different segments to a level. It keeps them nice and simple.
But then there's also like the idea of being able to string them together in proper series and that kind of stuff.
You could always
use all the stuff that wasn't just like putting down tiles, basically. They had the building the level part pretty much good, apart from a few like random little features where it's like, this would be nice if you could do this, and this one specific mechanic from this game doesn't really exist.
The building a campaign and building secret exits and that kind of stuff would be real interesting.
Yeah, like if you could build a map.
Yeah,
with like paths and for the secret exits and all that stuff.
That would be really fascinating. And if the game could randomly generate some of that, like pick levels with random exits and then like have random stuff appear on the map, and there could be some real nice generation stuff there. And also it would make their things like the 100 Mario Challenge or whatever, they could be challenge modes where it's like, here, we've put together this map, get through it like a full game of Mario. There could be some real neat stuff there.
So they could do that. But maybe they'll just end up fucking re-releasing it again. Re-releasing the original.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure they'd add stuff to it if it was re-released, probably.
Yeah, they might want to allow you to re-access the pool of levels, probably.
Assuming they can. Assuming it's not weirdly
they did that
locked away in some weird...
Well, the 3DS version could let you play some of the levels, because not all of the items made it to the DS version.
Right, but they will all make it to the Switch version, for sure.
You'd hope. You'd really hope. Oh, except none of that Miiverse stuff would be there.
Who knows? Yeah. Although then again, sometimes that Miiverse stuff is kind of cool.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit worried. There's the one thing I think I'll miss from like when Splatoon 2 happens. You know, like the Miiverse stuff was kind of
graffiti.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a big part of that game. How it just randomly appeared in levels everywhere and stuff like that. It was awesome. It was really nicely done as well. Like they changed the black and whiteness of the Miiverse art into into color of graffiti like texture mapping on it and stuff like that. And when it was on during Splatfest, they neoned it up. Oh, Miiverse! You should have kept that, Nintendo.
You should have kept some parts of your online service.
Yeah,
rather than throwing it all out and starting over and make it worse somehow.
Yeah. Oh well. Good ideas never last.
Another Nintendo news speculation over the Pokemon coming to the Switch.
Yeah, there's been that previous speculation about Pokemon Stars where everyone was thinking they were just going to release the portable mobile. What? So they were going to release the Sun and Moon games on the Switch as a combined game, like they keep doing for the Pokemon games,
like they've always done.
Platinum or whatever.
Yeah, Crystal.
There was speculation they were going to do that.
Yellow.
Even before Sun and Moon came out, that was a rumor.
Yeah,
due to some like high-res assets or something that someone saw at some point.
Yeah, there's quite a few leaks happened. Yeah.
But then like Game Freak made some job postings that some of the wording suggested that might not even be that game, and it might be more than one Pokemon game coming to the Switch.
Well, one would assume that this production on Stars has been running for a while already. So they're probably hiring for whatever their next project is, and Game Freaks are big enough to not just have one rolling title.
Well, right? That's true, but there's a couple of bits of wording in the job posting that does seem to be specific, like make specific reference to like cartoony styled monsters. Where it's like they're just talking about Pokemon, aren't they?
Probably. What else do they do?
I mean, they do release other games occasionally.
Or Tembo.
Yeah, exactly.
Tembo, the badass elephant, is technically them.
But I mean, it's, they've surely got to be talking about Pokemon. But then, like, which Pokemon game is it going to be? A new one? Are they going to? It would seem weird. Well, I don't know. I mean, Stars can come out on 3DS if they want to, I suppose. Because it's just their standard procedure at this point. Make the third companion to the other two that's the combined game or whatever.
It's got to happen, right?
Yeah, that should happen regardless. But then, like, what is going to happen on Switch? Are they actually going? Is Nintendo and Game Freak ever going to make the Pokemon game that everyone wants? Where it's just a fucking normal open world Pokemon game where you wander around, there's tall grass, you walk in it, it's not grid based or any of that bullshit like Sun and Moon aren't now.
Well,
look at Zelda. I mean, like,
yeah, but that's not an argument. I was literally about to say the argument that doesn't work here is like, hey, Nintendo have done Zelda, and it's like, no, yeah, but Nintendo don't make Pokemon. It's like as a whole.
No,
separate
that's
team.
true.
It's a whole,
that's true. But they are similarly reticent to change things. Yes, usually.
It would be nice if Pokemon could finally just throw out all the old stuff.
Well, that's what Zelda did, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Ways.
But Pokemon are always tied down by their back compat thing, right?
Yeah, but they don't have to.
Yeah, maybe now's the time.
They can finally be free.
Yeah,
they can finally stop making up bullshit Pokemon to fill out a number that they've clearly run out of ideas for. I hadn't really paid that much attention to Sun and Moon, but some of the Pokemon in there are there's a sandcastle.
Of course there is. Sandcastle Pokemon. Got a level 100 sandcastle.
Yeah, it even evolves. It starts off as like a mound, and then it gets like turrets.
It's not going to last long against
water types.
Blastoise.
Oh, it does actually have. It has apparently its abilities when it gets hit by a water type. Its special ability is sand compaction, where it gets bonus defense because sand gets compacted by them. It turns into concrete or whatever. I guess.
Right. Okay. Jesus.
Throw all that out. Start over.
We'll see what they do.
Do you reckon if they threw it all out, they'd just do a game with just 150 Pokemon in it?
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
they won't do that though.
But the trouble is that, like,
is that a good thing though? Like,
I think it would be good.
Is reducing it down like that actually a good thing?
Because then, if they had, I'm not saying use the original 150, don't do that. But if you had 150 that were
brand new and like bought up from scratch.
Well, maybe from scratch, but even if you picked the best ones, then you put loads of effort into animating those 150, that would be super awesome. Yeah. I'm not saying best. Obviously, you'd have to have the range where you had the stupid equivalent or whatever. Yeah, but pick the best of the shit ones to be the shit one for this game, and then
yeah, exactly. No fucking bidoos.
Yeah, make it look awesome.
No garbage bag.
No. Well, maybe.
What's that one
There's not that many poison Pokemon to choose from, really.
Mm. What's the trash bag one called? Garbo.
Its evolution is Garbodor, but I can't remember what the basic one is.
See, this is, in a way, I know it's stupid, but I kind of love all this stuff, right? Garbodor, what a great dumbass name.
Yeah, but it already exists.
Garbage.
Like, that's fine. We don't need more to laugh at. We've already got quite a lot.
I know, I think I can always laugh at more. What's the sandcastle called?
I don't know, I didn't see its name.
Sandabor.
Okay, Pokemon. We'll see what they do.
Castle.
Better release a game. Would be nice.
I'm sure they will.
For the Switch. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Maybe next year, though, if they've got Mario this year.
Oh.
And it's not even announced, so yeah, it'll be a while.
Yeah.
Well, Stars could come out basically at any moment.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they will, though. I think they'll...
We'll see.
They'll tease us in.
They'd have used... Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon in 1 year would be really big guns. But
yeah,
anyway.
they'll hold it off to next year for sure.
Yeah. So, what else has happened? Finally,
old by then.
Mass Effect Andromeda came out, and we called it.
The result is very lukewarm.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the response or
result,
not
the
just
result.
The result.
I guess is probably also kind of lukewarm.
I mean, there's no denying that Frostbite engine makes some pretty nice looking environments, and that
some of the combat looks all right, actually.
Yeah, but that's the trouble, isn't it? That's not.
That's not really what you want out of a Mass Effect.
No, exactly.
The combat's good, and that's that keeps you going, I suppose. But
you're not going to be playing it as a shooter, are you? Or for its shooting, really?
No, it's always it's primarily remembered for its dialogue trees and interesting character developments. And...
little plots and main plot, and characters and the universe and the building and everything, world building and all that stuff. It was a cool world, the original Mass Effect stuff. So with this one, as you may know, listeners, it's a soft reboot. So they basically fucked the universe, no matter how well you did in the original trilogy. Isn't that true? I would say, as a setting.
It's like irrelevant, I guess.
So they needed to, for corporate reasons, they needed everything to be the same, pretty much.
They needed to bring all those fucking races and characters. Don't lose the characters, I guess.
All the races you know and love have been transported to the Andromeda Galaxy to do exactly what they did in the old galaxy, but in the new galaxy, including having a Citadel thing with a different name and a Normandy with a different name.
Boring name as well.
Yeah, and everything the same, but with different names and labour.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the. Have you seen some of the graphics for the new aliens?
Yeah, they just look like blobby mess.
I think they look fine.
Or they've been ripped straight out of Star Trek. I'm sure some of them just look a bit like. I'm sure there's one that looks a bit Ferengi, and
they certainly don't look like.
No, sorry. There's one that looks very Star Wars. There's like you has like a
that's true.
A sort of fake flesh cape, I suppose, down his neck. Like that's very Star Wars looking.
I know, obviously, like aliens in. There's no reason for aliens in that galaxy to be any more weird than aliens in our galaxy.
Yeah.
But you'd still think they'd go to some effort to.
They don't all have to be humanoid.
Well, yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then that makes it difficult to make cover-based shooting.
I guess, yeah.
If you don't have human enemies that can crouch behind a low wall.
But man, couldn't that be really interesting? Like, these enemies have like eyeballs on sticks that they stick around corners to see where you are and things like that, and they're like...
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, they may not have been in
some real weird combat mechanics.
They may not have been in the combat, but there were weird-looking aliens in the original Mass Effect that they have ditched, like the
Hanar?
The Hanar, yeah. Yeah, they're not about. They've ditched those.
But all the weird-looking aliens in the original Mass Effect were like They couldn't have been in combat.
No.
Because of their weird races that were like you've got the Hanar who are just like floating jellyfish. They're very vulnerable. You've got the Elcor, the giant dudes who can't move very quickly.
Yeah.
They're not going to be in combat.
Cool.
You've got the Volors with their enviro suits. They get shot once and they're dead.
Yeah, that's true. But
except I guess the Volors were in Mass Effect 3's modifier, weren't they?
As far as I know,
I think you can unlock Volors.
Oh, that's cool.
As a
really?
character class.
But none of those cool races, there aren't any new cool races like that, and they didn't bring those ones over from the Milky Way for this game, so they ditched all that interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's all
rather than
generic
take it further.
6-foot tall dudes.
Then you could also argue that the Quarians, in theory, were one-shot die people, but shields and stuff.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
They ditched the Quarians because they wanted to show off their new facial tech, I suppose. But
I'm not sure that's why they did
it.
it, but sure.
Did they? Is that the reason?
No, I'm just saying maybe it is the reason
You're
because
just making
Quarians you can't see their
subtly
face.
dumb
Right?
joke about how terrible the faces are.
Yeah.
They ditched the Quarians then.
They're not in
Again.
it. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I don't think.
I thought
they're
the
in it.
Quarians were one of the more interesting races.
Yeah, totally.
To me.
I mean, and yeah, they would have been interesting in terms of the storyline in this game, but they're not in it.
Resettle their homeworld, clearly.
Well,
Yeah.
but they don't. Yeah, I guess. But that was the whole thing, wasn't it? They were going to try and figure that out with the Geth, weren't they? By the end of Mass Effect, and
I'm sure they did.
because they sort of made up, didn't they?
Sort of.
So yeah, it's just I just think this whole. I know, Rob. I know
It's
you like.
half-assed.
I know you like
That's what-
Halo
that's what it
4,
feels
but I
like.
think there is this trend where like you do these trilogies where they do wrap up, and then the original creator basically leaves, and then
Yes.
it's like no, there's name recognition. We have to like make a new trilogy, and it's like I'm just not that interested in.
Basically, exactly the same thing happened as Halo.
But Halo 4 I'm sure was fine.
Yeah, I mean, Halo 4 was better than Mass Effect Andromeda comparatively
Yeah.
to their previous game.
But
As
I'm
far
just
as we
not-
know, yeah. But
just
then
not
even I will agree with the fact that I like what Halo 4 did, but its intrigue as a trilogy by Halo 4 isn't doesn't really stand.
Well, they did the same thing
and then,
where it
and
had
then
to
they kind
be
of
like a soft
poo-pooed it more in
reboot, right?
5.
Yeah, they did the same thing in Halo 4 where it was just like, now the Covenant has to come back because everyone likes the Covenant. We have to make up a bullshit reason for that, and it's the
Yeah.
same in Mass Effect. It's like we have to make up a bullshit reason to bring all these races that we knew.
That's the thing. If they had been brave, I think in either of them, like braver, then they could have ditched quite a lot of stuff. But because of due to the reboot, right? You could have made Andromeda be. You could have made it so it was only humans like traveling, and all the races.
Well, just
can do
you.
it. Well, yeah, I don't know. You could have gone crazy. I mean, obviously, you don't want to ditch everything about Mass Effect, but having it be the same, but with terrible writing, is not good because all the writers left, obviously.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, Mass Effect.
Just tired.
My face is tired, but it is good for memes. It's pretty good for memes, so that's all you need.
The problem is nowadays is you've got games like The Witcher exist that have proven that you can do this massive scale side questy stuff and not skimp on quality.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I don't know what.
impressive.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what the budget is here. Like, if there are like constraints that we don't know about that clearly define what these the differences between those two titles. But
Well, this was like the B team or whatever.
you reckon?
At BioWare.
So what's real BioWare up to?
Who knows?
I thought this was like what is the
I think
remnants
this is-
of
yeah.
BioWare. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
but
this
the
was
Remnants, that's what I mean. It's the B team because that was
There
like
is no
all the A team left.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's not like so it's not like they have another team to get to flip
I
to.
don't
It's not
think
like
so,
Platinum's multiple teams.
Although
No.
there are still multiple BioWare studios, right? More than one.
don't even know
Possibly.
anymore.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
I think
I mean, they're
closed
doing
a
the
few
Old
of them.
Republic, aren't they? Sorry, no, what's it called? Yeah, the Old Republic. What's the name of the MMO?
Yeah,
Old Republic,
that's
yeah.
technically a BioWare, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's still running.
That must be a whole team, I would have thought.
But then, even then, probably the BioWare teams that are left, they don't even really count as BioWare. It's just like random studios that EA slapped the BioWare name on. It's basically what they're at this point.
Yeah.
You might as well start calling one of them like Westwood or something, or Bullfrog.
Lionhead. Yeah. Anyway.
Exactly.
Right. That's it for news, I think.
Yeah, not a massive amount.
But not too bad. So,
Not a mass effect
Not a mass effect of
news.
news.
Yeah.
It's massively effective.
that's
I've got
another
tickets to
thing. It's like the Mass Effect was the thing, the science behind those mass
The gates,
relay
yeah.
gates, which were the whole point
And
of the
ships,
game.
I guess.
And surely there's no gates in the new universe because they
Unless
haven't
there
been
is.
there yet. Unless there is. Oh fuck, who knows? Anyway, never mind.
Well, in theory, it wasn't the theory that the Reapers were the ones that
Set that all up.
that set
Yeah.
up all this mass relay technology, and racers always discovered it because they found things.
Well, but
And then-
the question is, in the new
like
in
2001.
Andromeda, what are they propelling their ships with? Because that was still all Mass Effect and Element Zero.
Mm.
It was still running on the same stuff. Does Andromeda have the Element Zero supply to run the same kind of technology, or are they using some other kind of thing?
So, well, one might argue that the Reapers they reaped multiple galaxies, right?
That would be the theory.
They
Because
were
apparently they can survive in between galaxies. No problem.
they were nomadic farmers, effectively.
Who knows?
Right.
We're probably not going to find out.
No.
Not in this first game, no.
Who
Although they
cares?
sort of did tell us some of that in the first Mass Effect game, didn't they? When you first talked to the Reaper.
Before they knew it was going to be a trilogy, maybe.
Yeah, just that one Reaper, wasn't it? In
Yeah.
the first game.
It was the ship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The baddie. Yeah. Anyway. Right. That's it. So what you've been playing, Rob, since it's Zelda time for Zeg?
Yeah. Rob gets to tell us the nothing he's been playing.
Yeah,
He's been playing Fandango.
I've really not been playing a great deal yet because I've been working a lot these last couple of weeks, so I've not had a great deal.
You've been traveling still?
Yeah, a lot. I'm out of action most of this week, for instance, and so I got a little bit of latent time in because that's what I play when I've got my DS out and I'm not about to sleep.
Not any of those other games that I gave you.
No, because it's
Because you've never fucking finished Leighton.
yeah, I'm like 17 odd hours into it, and there's I don't touch it very frequently, but
No.
it's problem I have is when I'm traveling at the moment, I'll get out my DS and I do something for about half an hour and immediately fall asleep, just feel real tired, and then I'm looking at the screen and I'm not doing anything for half an hour. I realise that's happened sometimes. I'm not actually thinking about this puzzle in front of me, and it's I should probably just go to bed. So I got a little bit further in that. I honestly have no idea how much more of that game there is. It just keeps going. So I did a bit of that. I've been the main thing is I've been progressing in Grim.
Oh, cool. You enjoying it?
So, ups and downs.
Frustrated by the puzzles.
I still really love the style, but there are elements of it that are just oh my god, really? And just there are just moments that it's almost not so much going. I never get into a flow. I think with that game,
It's impossible.
I always seem to go from thing to thing, going, all right, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah,
I'm just going from one bout of I have no idea what to do to the next bout of I don't know what.
That
to
is
do,
kind of how they always were, though. That whole genre.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anywhere I got into a flow.
And so it never really satisfies in the way that I hope. It's just all right, I found that by accident. It never quite hits me as I'm
a
good
genius.
at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What puzzles have you done?
Worst. So I'm up to year 4 now.
Oh shit! Nice.
I've
the
got
end.
to. So where am I there? Oh yeah, I'm in the sewer. With the mysterious with the crocodile in front of me. And I've got no idea how to get past that. At the
Okay,
moment.
cool. I forgot how to do that when I was doing it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I've tried every option I can think of at this point, and I did it all with Zach stood next to me, and we're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
It's just we don't. I'm properly stuck, and it has been. I have looked stuff up twice, I think, so far.
Yeah. Which ones did you get
in
stuck on?
Rubicava?
Yeah, because the one with I never understood how you were supposed to figure out the one with the the betting stub. I think was okay,
Yeah,
It's
that
just
wasn't so bad. I had figured that one out. Well,
the printing
or at
that
least
machine
there
is
are-
like really confusing because it's the numbers are like the wrong way labeled weirdly. Or
Oh
something.
yeah. But at least you
Anyway.
could get man if you examine the ticket, he would read off what you'd printed.
Yeah, so you
So it'd be
knew what
like
it
week
was.
2, this thing on a Tuesday, and yeah, he'd tell you, and it's
Yeah, Kitty Hat
That's-
Day.
yeah. So yeah, some of that was a little obscure, but it's like I'd sort of figured that one out.
Yeah.
Where I got a bit screwed were on some of the ones where I knew what was involved, but just couldn't figure out how to make it happen because of the way the environment worked or something like that. Like I didn't actually figure out how to. Okay, so you know in Rubikava, you find Lola. She gives you the card. You then go get her jacket, which inside has another card for the rusty anchor.
Yep. The
Or something,
tattoo design,
which I
yeah.
immediately knew was a tattoo design.
Right.
So I go to the tattoo pile and I go, well, what do I do with this? Why can't I use this 53 rusty anchor? How do I get in? He's got a tattoo book right there, but everything I tried was like, well, I can't actually get at the tattoo book. What's going on? So I knew I had to try and like confuse Naranja or make him pass out so I could then do another thing to then get the tattoo book. And I knew it had to be something to do with the hookah water, like because that was the only thing I could really squidge into his beer or whatever the hell he was drinking.
Yeah.
And but I could never get that to work. You know, so I stood over.
It's like with
there's
the
a
fridge
timing
door,
thing
isn't
there.
it, or something?
Yeah, there's 2 timing things there in the tattoo parlor, and neither of them are particularly obvious when that timing is. Like, there's just some phases of when the tattoo is being applied that that you can do some actions. And it's like, and then it goes, no, he'll see me. And it's like, but he's occupied right now. Like, what's going on? Yeah, and then you do the fridge thing, and then there's a timing element to that as well.
Yeah.
That then lets you do the hookah water thing because he's distracted. And it's like, yeah, all that. I had to look up what the sequence was for that because it's just like, I know there's something here, but I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. It's like my brain had already figured out that this was where the problem was, and this is where
that's
all
a
the pieces
double
were.
puzzle, though, isn't it? Because it's part of your aim is to incapacitate him so you can take his place on the ship, right?
Yes, so you incapacitate him, but that's not the solution. And then it took me a while to figure out what to do next, but I did figure that one out at least. It suddenly came to me. It's like, oh, that's why I'm carrying around this metal detector for friggin' ages. Yeah, it's like, and why the morgue exists. It's like suddenly it all came into, oh, that's why that's a thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing I had to look up was how to actually just end the year.
Oh, right.
how to actually get it so you get Glottis out of the
out of the gambling place,
out of
the high roller
thing.
Yeah,
because that was totally non-apparent to me. It's like I went back to the club and the officer was there, and you're being told, please let him carry on winning. So I didn't for a second think I should force the officer to lose again.
And then shut down your club.
And then that would piss him off to shut down the club, and then for some reason that causes the big boss to call in the gambling debt of Glottis, and then that in turn causes you to lose control of your club, and then Glottis gets kicked out. And it's like, there's a logic to it, but I just didn't think of it for a second because you do that same action earlier on to achieve something, and there aren't many moments in this game where it forces you to do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
With different effects.
Yeah.
Oh, and the chain. Year 3 is a crap.
The chain is a pain.
I had no idea you had to put it down and then pull it up again, and then put it down.
Yeah.
But then it was the putting it down again bit was what I missed, and it's like, I thought I had to attach something to it, but he's like, I can't attach anything to it.
There's a bit in, and I'm trying to think where it is, but I think it's in the commentary tracks, or maybe it's in a YouTube video or something of Tim Schafer describing, I don't know if it was at the time or he's describing this puzzle, and he has it in his head, and he's like, oh, and then it'll scrunch up and it's gonna work, and the designers will look at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You could just see it in Tim Schafer's head. It's like, it's gonna work, it's gonna make sense. And it's like, yeah,
it even animates pretty badly when the scrunching happens. It's like, it's one of those things where it doesn't physically make any sense.
Yeah, it must have been quite difficult for that
whole segment actually with the current and the end of the world and how that actually functions.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
I don't like Year 3 very much. Yeah.
There's not a good logical jump there. And it also features some of the most annoying, those Angelitos.
Characters.
Are the worst. So irritating.
I like Meche when she's pissed off all the time in
Oh yeah.
I think that's
pissed
cool.
off Meche's fun. But yeah.
But otherwise it's not very long though. It's the shortest year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very short. Very short. But it was also one of the more frustrating ones because it also has that timing bit with Chapito where it's like if you don't catch him when he's walking around,
that's annoying.
And you have to wait friggin' ages for him to come back, and it's got some of the, and I couldn't get some of the stuff at the start of it where you have to do the chain thing to rip the boat in half. Like that was real.
At the very beginning,
finicky to figure out what it wanted you to do.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, and there's something to do with this, but I just don't know how to make it do it. And after a while, something happens, like, oh, okay. Yeah,
so this is like the pinnacle of the form of like LucasArts adventure games. Like if you played any previous ones, they are even more frustrating.
Yeah, I know, and it is streamlined in many, many ways. It's like I have played with a lot of the commentary track on, which is fun. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah,
and they don't. It's a little bit spoilery, but not really solution-y, if you know what I mean. It doesn't really. There is one solution spoiler in Year 4 that I've discovered where he's talking about the snow grinder.
Oh yeah. And the fact that you have to put it back into the
and it's like, this is the, he specifically says this is the only item combination puzzle in the whole game, and because we didn't have an item combination system, we had to do it in this weird ass placement way. But we really wanted this puzzle, so we left it, and it's
right. Yeah, because of course item combinations puzzles were the staple of previous games. Yeah.
But they didn't want it because it was a bit too complex. So it's
I think it's good without it. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of prefer that because that is a classic problem that everyone always talks about in old adventure games. Is like put every item on everything,
click everything onto everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a bit frustrating. I'll tell you one thing: it is the remastered editions, the remastered editions edition of the mouse controls is a pretty useful thing at times. Because you can just scan the mouse over the environment to see what's interactive.
Oh, right. I didn't try those controls.
It's kind of, they're classic mouse controls. It's like go click to do a thing. A little menu pops up to say, do you want to do the pickup action or
verb
or look at? You can. But it's like a little menu that pops up. So that all works just fine. But yeah, just picking out what in the environment you can interact with it's so invaluable. Because sometimes it's real finicky to get Manny to look at the thing you actually want to interact with. Whereas if you have the mouse at hand, you can just go, I want in this particular case I want that. So I'm mostly playing with a controller in the new control scheme.
But you just grab the mouse when you need to. That's cool.
Yeah. So if I get a bit stuck, I'll grab the mouse and start scanning environments to be like, what's actually meaningful here. And there's definitely some interactions that I'd never discovered before, basically, that I've picked up on. It's like, I can sing about the moon. I can. Oh, yeah.
You're pretty near the end.
Yeah, I realise that. The game is definitely ramping up, and as I say, I'm limited in scope as to what I could do now. And it was a bit of a shame when you go back to Rubicava, for instance. I kind of wished I could explore more and see more what was going on. I want to go back to Club Caravella, what it turned into. And
yeah. I think it's just they run out of
Yeah, well, it was clear that they were reusing assets for that section. And it's
exactly.
So it's could I get on the airship yet? Because the airship seems to be making a hell of a noise, and it wasn't making a hell of a noise before. It's like little details sometimes. It's just like maybe that was a cut idea at some point, but it's still. I still love that setting, and I still kind of love the storyline. It's like I don't think the writing is quite as funny as Tim Schafer seems to think it is in some of his commentary.
Yeah,
but it has its moments where it's genius.
It's pretty impressive if he wrote the thing.
Yeah, I quite liked it when I came across the little mechanic goblins. They're quite funny.
Oh yeah, they're cool. The little Glottis guys. Yeah,
mini Glottis.
Yeah, they're cool. I did notice that. I'd always thought of all the games that might make a decent Pixar style film, and I have noticed that there is now a trailer for a Pixar film based around the Mexican Land of the Dead.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's
I know
about
someone else made Tree of Life, wasn't it, like a year or two ago, which was about that sort of stuff as well. But
So this is clearly going to have calaveras, etc. in it.
hell yeah.
It's about a boy who's really into Mexican guitarist or something, I think. It's like guitar based.
It's about a boy who's really into death.
Yeah.
And so dies, and then becomes a dead mariachi band.
Well, it's like a guy who's got a classical guitar where the headstock looks like a skull.
Naturally.
Yep. Everything skulls.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah.
Yes, so
classic.
yeah, it's enjoyable. It's hitting the spot right now because I'm not really into any particular game, so it's nice to sort of drift into that and
Yeah.
Because of there's a commentary about it as well, like because of the fidelity of that save system, where it's just like save anywhere, remember exactly what you're up to and what was happening in the background, and
Yeah, that's good.
there's some fun stuff in the commentary. Like, I love the bit about when you're in year 2 and it talks about the cat race simulation.
Oh, yeah.
That apparently never turns off.
That just runs
throughout
for the whole
entire-
game.
The script
That is the
looks-
best commentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And presumably in the remaster version, they just left it because, like, yeah. I assume.
Yeah. Apparently that's still true. Yeah. That's pretty great.
Just a constant cat race simulation through the whole game. Right.
It's pretty
cool.
great. Yeah, so there's that, and what else did I play? I played a bit more F-Zero. I tried going back to the story mode on that game, because I forgot how you unlock things in F-Zero GX. It's a bit more involved than I originally thought. I thought you just, played it, and it would give you ships and things, and you'd get through and stuff like that. But no, there's actually like a money system that I'd totally forgotten about. You win tickets after each thing you achieve, or each time you do something. You don't have to spend those tickets on what you want. And like the story missions, as it turns out, are a purchasable item.
Yeah.
So you have to go get enough tickets and then go buy them and then play them and then go try the hard version of that if you want more tickets to actually buy the next mission. And it's like the hard versions of those missions are really hard. And that's before you've even tried the very hard versions of those missions. And I did I remember back in the day, I've done quite a few of the very hard versions of that game, and I can't do the hard version of Mission 2 at the moment.
I definitely remember one time watching you play some of that where you were just doing that mission where you have to, I don't remember what it is, like you have to escape some explosion or something as Captain Falcon. And it's like a 12-second level, you just have to boost really fast and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, it's a tunnel. It's a classic tunnel with doors closing, and it's more memorization than anything.
Yeah, I remember you doing that for a long time. I don't even remember
Really
whether that
hard.
was the harder version or...
Yeah, no, that was really hard. I remember that. I haven't even got there yet this time. Because I said I tried for friggin' ages to do Mission 2 in hard mode, and it's like I can't get it. That game is very hard, and still, as I said last week, still very, very good.
It's classic.
It's a classic.
For sure.
It's thanks to emulation, it's somewhat timeless. It still holds up really well.
It took a while for the emulation to catch up, but now it's there with Golden.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. Beautiful.
Cool. Zeg, it's Zelda time.
Not quite. I'll talk about the other stuff first.
What's up?
So, I played quite a lot of Stardew when I wasn't playing with Zelda, because we're still doing the multiplayer in that. And it's still, like,
the hacked multiplayer.
Yeah, the hacked multiplayer. The more I played it, the more it's just like, I really hope when they make the real multiplayer that they put a lot of thought into, like, the mechanics of multiplayer. Because it's just like, first of all, you kind of need to rebalance the economy to some extent. Because when you've got two people who can do twice as much work, you can get money real quickly, like really early in the game. That kind of thing. I don't know how you'd really solve that exactly for multiplayer, or whether you want to. Like, maybe people want that in multiplayer. To be like, yeah, when you have two people, you should be able to make money a lot faster, because you do have two people who can put twice as much work in. Yeah.
So I guess that's a balancing act. You still got to try and achieve the similar sort of experience.
Well, yeah,
maybe,
like
or maybe you don't. Maybe you just make it a different.
It's
thing.
a weird decision, but then like there's other things where well, the thing that I really hope they do think about for the real multiplayer would be like actual mechanics for multiplayer. not just like have two people who exist in the same world and you just play the game. Like actually make some kind of mechanics that require multiplayer, like something different in multiplayer that actually makes it different. Not just two people playing Stardew at the same time. I'm not sure what you could do. Like, I guess at the simplest level, maybe you make it like if you're standing next to each other and you both charge up the watering can, you get like super watering can.
I guess, yeah. Maybe like a timed watering action suddenly creates mega water.
Yeah, or something. Or like in the mines, you can make it. Because I assume in the real version, you will actually both be able to exist in the same version of the mines rather than the hacked version.
Yeah.
Like having some kind of multiplayer combat mechanism could be more interesting. So yeah, we'll see at some point. God knows when.
Some kind of system where someone's the tank maybe and blocking things while the other guy's actually doing like support damage or something.
I mean, you could. I mean, the whole mines combat thing in Stardew is so simplistic anyway. There's plenty of opportunities to make that more complicated if you wanted to, even regardless of the multiplayer. But you'd hope for the multiplayer, you'd kind of need to make it more complicated because having two people there would be like makes a trivial amount of combat even more trivial when you have twice the damage output. So yeah, we played quite a lot more of that. And I also played some Rocket League, because it's time to get the Dream Team back together, Season 4.
Yeah, it started.
It's time for us to get shit ranked.
I saw some of that the Drop Zone game mode.
Drop Shot,
that actually doesn't look half as difficult as I thought it did originally.
Well, the thing about
the zones are a lot smaller than I thought they were, actually. I thought it was like the entire half of the pitch.
It is the entire half of the pitch.
Oh, that's not what it looked like from what I watched.
No.
It looked like a very small zone.
So the thing about Drop Shot as a mode is, well, when I talked to Rob about it originally, I said it's basically the Rocket League equivalent of volleyball. Like how the hoops is the Rocket League equivalent of basketball, although that's a little more literal in that case, because it is just basketball. Whereas this one is like volleyball, where the two teams have one half of the pitch each, and you have to hit the ball has to fall onto the enemy's floor, and then it causes damage to the floor, and eventually makes a hole, and then you have to shoot the ball through the hole to score. But the way it actually works is like it's kind of hard to tell. I haven't really figured out the specifics of the mechanics, but basically every time someone hits the ball, it like starts charging it up. And then, like, the more hits you do before the ball hits the ground, the higher the charge level can be. So it does more damage to a wider area.
Right, maybe that's what I mistook in the video. Like, maybe there was more damage happening to one specific area of the floor that made me think that's why it's a tiny zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure
the ball like loses its casing or something.
So that's like on the first. That's once it starts charging, it like explodes, and you see the glowing core. And then there's like a second stage where it gets more glowy. I don't know if there is like more distinct stages than that, or whether it is just those two. Like, because when the ball hits the floor, you get points for damage.
Right.
And then if you get to that second charge stage, you get points for ultra damage.
Right.
So I don't know if there is like distinction in between those, or whether you just have to get it to that point.
I guess what I want to know is this the mode to be playing if you want to just try and learn aerials?
Well, you would have to learn how to do aerials pretty quickly, because it's all fucking aerials all the time. Not sure it's necessarily the place to learn aerials exactly. I mean, the advantage of playing Drop Shot, I guess, is like you don't have to aim very much.
Right, yeah.
You just fucking hit it.
Yeah.
Just as long as it goes in one half of the pitch, you're pretty much good. And the other important thing about it is, like, if the ball is your colour, because it changes whenever anyone hits it, if the ball is your colour, you can have it hit the floor in your half and it doesn't matter.
Oh, right, yeah, so if you've blocked a shot well, then you're safe.
Well, provided it doesn't then fall through a hole, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
You do kind of have to be careful of that.
I assume the cars don't fall through holes.
Although there was like the first couple of games I had to keep resisting the temptation to jump when I was driving towards a hole.
Oh, right.
Because it's like, there's a fucking hole. Oh wait, there's just an invisible force field that you drive across. It's fine. But yeah, so you hit the ball, but then it becomes this problem of, well, there can be moments where you have the problem of just getting the ball in the air again. Because like when it's rolling along the ground, you're like, well, I guess someone has to drive it up the wall and then chip it up, and someone else has to hit it. That could be awkward. And it's also, I don't know if they need to change this mechanically, but there's no lower limit on the height that the ball can hit the floor from. So you can just if you just jump just above the ball and hit it down into the ground, that can still count as a hit.
Yeah, okay.
Because it ricochets back off you on the first bounce, and then the second bounce counts. So you can kind of just stab it and then score that way. And I've seen people do that to actually score, where they'll hit a ball on an already damaged bit of floor, but hit it downwards with their car above it. So the first hit destroys the floor, the ball bounces back up off them and then goes immediately into the hole. It's that's not really in the spirit of how that game is meant to work, I don't think.
It's hard to know. Yeah, sort of aerial dive bombing, I suppose, is part of it.
Sure. But the way I originally thought it was going to work was the higher off the ground you hit the ball, the more damage it did.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's not how that works. And then
I have to say, in terms of Rocket League, I just haven't got into it or whatever because I don't play these multiplayer games. But I have to say, in terms of games like this, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is if you are not into this game, then hearing people talk about it is like a different language. It's a bit like that used to happen to me with World of Warcraft or whatever. People could easily talk for half an hour about World of Warcraft without me really getting any of it. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully some of our listeners are Rocket League fans.
Have are a much more generalized format, I think, than Rocket League.
Yeah, that's probably
quite
true.
A specific thing.
Quite specific. So just saying, it's interesting stuff, but just be aware that it's very specific.
Yeah, you're right. I think explaining Rocket League is a little more general.
Well, you have to explain the game mode. That's the trouble with this thing when they've actually introduced something new.
But you're right. Yeah, we dwell on details a bit too much on this.
No, it's cool. I think it's interesting that you go into it in depth. But yeah,
I don't think I'm going to play much more Drop Shot, apart from when we inevitably play it with Rick.
Yeah, we've got to try it. Yeah,
but then it's just I don't like it very much because there's no tactics, there's no attack and defend, there's no positioning. Everyone's just constantly trying to fly towards the ball.
It's permanent. It's a permanent ball mash.
Yeah. It's there's not really much to it. Even though there's barely very much to normal Rocket League, it's somehow this has even less.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can see that argument for sure.
And yet people are this should be the new mode for esports. It's I'm sure it would be fucking look really amazing when pros were doing it.
Yeah.
Just the ball would be in the air for 10 minutes because no one would actually be able to hit it downwards.
I think in a weird way, it feels like it might be a fairer game mode because of the, you have to work at it, you have to keep possession, you have to keep mashing it in the floor to get, you're doing damage.
I guess
to sort of get it there. Whereas, whereas normal goal was so you get that loose ball and it's oh well, there's nothing we can do about that.
Well, sure,
that's the whole point.
That's tactics and defense positioning.
Yeah, I know, and I know that's true of real football as well. But that's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's that tension. It's that constant risk.
Although the other thing that I'm not sure whether is a particularly good idea with Drop Shot is the field on the defending side resets when you score, but not the attackers. So the people who score, their half of the field stays damaged.
Yeah. And
the defending half resets.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, it's sort of interesting, except that just means you just alternate scoring most of the time.
It makes, I don't know. That's an interesting one. Makes winning harder, I guess.
Because it's likely to be a draw, yes. Yeah. And also the field doesn't reset when it goes to overtime either.
Okay, that's more of a concern. That makes less sense.
So yeah, that's the new mode. And the new season has started.
Yeah.
And apparently they've tried to make the ranking less retarded for the start of the new season, where basically it's, as well as your 10 placement matches this time, it's going to supposedly take account of last season's rank.
Oh, interesting.
So you shouldn't get put directly into silver. Right. Like everyone did last season.
I'm not 100% sure I agree with that approach, because I think each season should be...
Well, sure, that's the reason for it to be a reset.
Yeah, it shouldn't be based on your previous performance. Otherwise it's not a fair competition.
I mean, you're not going to rank back to where you were. You're still going to rank lower than where you were. That's guaranteed.
Of course, but yeah, I don't think I like that.
Well, it just makes it slightly less shitty for having to grind for a bunch of games where one person is going to dominate the server because they are on their way up or whatever, and they were meant to be in Grand Champion, but now they're in Silver or any of that stuff.
I know, but that's just the nature of ranked. It's like the seasons in Rocket League are long enough that shouldn't really be considered a problem.
That's only coincidental because they haven't sorted themselves out with getting a season flow, where they obviously didn't have a good idea of how they were going to organise their seasons before. And I'm not sure they still do, so who knows how long Season 4 will be. Whether they will finally decide to say, season's going to be 3 months or 6 months or whatever. Make a specific time. And there's more ranks now. Although weirdly, they decided to introduce like more ranks. Like there's Platinum in between. Platinum replaces Blue, I think, and then there's Diamond above that, and then Grand Champion. So there's like a whole extra tier. But now they made it so each of the individual ranks only has 4 divisions now.
Well, that only gets rid of 1.
Yeah, 1 per all of them.
Yeah.
So I think there might actually be the exact same number of actual divisions.
Who cares? It just means there'll be a different colour of the thing you get at the end of the season.
Sure, but it means you'll be harder to get into Blue. Probably. Or whatever the equivalent of Blue is now. And speaking of weird coloured things you get at the end of the season, the number of people I've seen with purple wheels who clearly have not earned them.
Was that the thing you... Oh, yeah, we got... It was... So was purple...
Grand Champion.
Purple's Grand Champion, okay. So, yeah, wheels were the item... At the end of every... Just for clarification, at the end of every season, they give you an item or a series of items up to the rank you scored. So if to represent where you got to in that particular season, and it's unique to that season.
Yeah, it was boosts for season 2, and a crown type topper thing for season 1, and this season it was wheels. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people with purple wheels who do not play like anyone who's ever been near a Grand Champion. And I think that's probably because they're tradable, I believe.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Huh. What are you doing, Rocket League? What are you doing?
But like, even regardless of that, I've seen a lot of people who have the Season 3 Grand Champion tag who also are not playing like anyone who's been in Season 3 Grand Champion. And I'm like, Then again, considering how long Season 3 was and all the weird rank fucking around that they did over the course of it, maybe getting to Season 3 Grand Champion isn't exactly that much of a badge of honour.
Yeah, who knows?
Like, there was one guy who I saw it on when I was playing last night where I had seen... he's one of the people I regularly see playing casual at about whatever level I'm at in casual. And it's like, he's not that great. He's not that much better than me.
Yeah, but a lot of people get lifted by their team, right?
Sure, I mean, that's the other thing about the
Kips and I.
Well, that's the other thing about that Season 3 Grand Champion tag, is it doesn't specify which ranked playlist that was in. And I think maybe they should have made that distinction. Because, like, a Season 3 Grand Champion solo would be way different to a Season 3 Grand Champion 3v3. So, like, it's a very different thing to get ranked completely on your own skill in 1v1, I guess.
Well, and it's also hard to tell, that a player's skill may only apply to the strategy by which their team plays. Yeah, so they may be very, very good, but very, very good at what they do in the team.
Yeah. I think they should maybe have made that distinction, but it's irrelevant anyway. That tag is... every time I see anyone with the Grand Champion, even last season when I was seeing the Season 2 Grand Champions, it's like, yeah, well, prove it. And then most of the time they didn't. Most of the time they just proved to be about the same skill as I was at in Blue. Which, I mean, I guess Blue is technically only one rank below Purple. I mean, one series of ranks. I never got anywhere close. I briefly flirted before the end of Season 3. I briefly flirted with getting to the highest tier of Blue. But I didn't make it. But I only play solo 3v3, and that's probably the hardest one to rank up in. Because it's like, you're entirely reliant on random team composition.
Sure.
You're relying on your team to have any idea how to play in a team.
I better suck at this now.
We'll see.
It's been a good few months since
We'll
I've touched
see.
it.
There's pro tips on the loading screen now.
Wow.
That you can't read because they only show up for like half a second. Because loading doesn't take very long.
Yeah. Pro tip, read faster.
Yeah, that's the main one. Okay, now we'll talk about Zelda. Let's talk about Zelda.
Okay.
How far have you got there?
So I've only played it last weekend, pretty much. So I've done the Zora stuff.
Okay.
I did that one first. So I did that. So I've done one Divine Beast there.
Good.
So yeah, it's progress, some progress. Yeah. But I'm a bit, because I'm having to find somewhere to live, I'm sort of pausing right now a little bit so I can get some stuff done. But yeah, no, it's pretty great. I really like it. I in terms of finding stuff early on, like I managed to find, well, I went, let's see, what did I do? Oh yeah, so I went to, so from the start, right?
Yeah.
I went to Kakariko or Kakariko, whatever, as they recommend. So that's fine. And then I went to Hatino or whatever to get the, because they recommended I upgrade my Sheikah Slate.
Slab upgrade, yep.
Then I went down to the beach at Hatino to defeat some enemies because that was a side quest.
Yep.
Yeah, which was pretty hard.
Those guys
at my level.
I didn't do that the first time I went to Hatino. Yeah, I was like,
that was hard.
Those guys are too tough.
So I just cheesed it with lots of bombs and spent ages and eventually killed them. And then, so I was over that side and then I was like, well, I'm here now. There's clearly an island over there and I've just found this, raft and I've got the leaf thing. So I went over, there was an island with a shrine on. So I was like, okay, I'll try this. It was a major test of strength.
Yep.
Which is a dude with an insane amount of health that no matter what I did, I broke all my weapons on it before it got to half health at that point in the game.
3,000 hit point guide.
Yeah, this is the
I don't know if that one would have had 3,000, but
that was the.
That would probably have been at least 2, maybe.
No, I later discovered that there's 3 of them because I found all 3. There's minor, moderate, and major, and I found major first.
Did major first.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it.
I think I did that one first as well.
I found it first.
I did it a bit later. I had slightly better weapons by that time.
So I could not defeat it because I don't think there was a way to defeat it because I didn't have equipment that would actually last through the fight. So
yeah, you could have chucked bombs forever, I suppose.
Do you think? Anyway, so then I was like, oh, fuck this island. So I went over to the next island, and that was a stupid quest that I was definitely not prepared for, where it removes all of your items and clothes and says, do this, survive on this island and do all these things. And it's like, well, I've only got like 4 hearts, so I don't think this is going to work out well.
You don't have the health buffer.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have any kind of natural skills at this point that survived that stripping process. So I was like, well, this isn't going well. I'm obviously going in the wrong direction. So I thought, well, I better go back and try the Zora path because I get a feeling that that's what they want me to do next. And then, but in between that, no, hang on. Then I got the memories.
Sure.
Yeah, because I went back to the village and then I got the memories. And then I was like, well, this memory is clearly on the plain facing the dueling peaks. So I'll go back and find that. So I found that.
The memories?
They're like photos.
Basically, your Sheikah Slate has a bunch of old photos in from the past.
Oh, right.
And like you go to the location where the photo
was taken.
You get a video sequence.
Okay.
Yeah. With the terrible English dub of Zelda and stuff. Well, it's fine. Anyway, but I wish we could change it to dual audio and have Japanese voices and English subtitles, but never mind. So I went out there to the center. I think I did the central tower, even though it was defended by guardians. I just sort of ran for it.
That was the one that I did quite early.
That was fine. And then I went a bit further west and found a stables. And then I went up and the mountain there because the bloke there was talking about the horse statue memory. So I was like, I managed to find that. Not until after exploring that whole mountain that's kind of behind it. That has a shrine on top
overshot that as well.
Yeah. But that mountain has a shrine on top, but it also has all the food items you could possibly want.
Yeah, there's that little ledge halfway down on the far side that has there's just an entire grove of apple trees, and then there's another tier further down that has a whole shit ton of weird status effect bushes and all kinds of other food. It's basically
like a larder. So you just go and you blow up the apple orchard and get 100 apples at a time. Then you go down Then you go down and get all the herbs from the herb place. And there's a bit slightly further up that has hearty durians like a few of them, and they turns out you only need to cook once, and they give you one of them, and it gives you a meal that restores all of your hearts.
Yeah, all of the hearty foods have that effect.
So it's like, okay, so I stocked up massively on apples and things that I could mix with apples to make stuff that did stuff.
Apples are so irrelevant in this game. You get
they're great.
Apples.
But they pad out all your dishes or whatever.
You don't need to pad anything. Every food you make gives you far too many hearts in all cases.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got to mix. You can't just mix. You can't make a meal out of just the herb. You need to mix it with something, right?
I don't think I've used the herb in a single meal.
Well, how do you make?
I've always had other stuff to put in there.
Right. What, like a mushroom that gives you the effect rather than the herb or whatever? Anyway.
Well, the thing about the herbs is like they you have the ones that are specific for like cold resist and heat resist and electric resist or whatever.
All the stuff, yeah.
And it's like I barely even use those most time because I forget it. It's like I made a few, like I have a meal where it's like, oh, this is one gives you electric resistance. Good luck me remembering to use that whenever I see anything that does electric damage.
Really? Oh, I don't think it makes sense to use them to some extent.
And also I have this like, it's a psychological thing, I guess, but like I'm too obsessed with like the heart replenishing part of it and not the effect replenishing part of it.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to waste this food if I eat it now. It replenishes 7 hearts and I'm at full health.
Right. But you're not really wasting because it's so easy to get food that covers
that's
hearts.
also true.
Yeah, so
I would have preferred if it was easier to get the things to make elixirs instead, like the bugs. Because then I could just make a shit ton of elixirs like this, just an elixir that gives you no hearts but only electric resistance.
Yeah,
and I'd chug those all the time if I had those.
Yeah,
because I would have this psychological thing about the health.
Because I'm wasting the hearts.
The health foods aren't an active food, so they don't cancel your buff. Is that right?
No, that is the part of the buff. They give you hearts and a thing.
I know, but if you eat food that's just health,
the health doesn't cancel any current buffs.
Yeah, okay.
If it's just pure health.
But a food can only
there
have...
would be an advantage to having those things separately in your inventory. Basically, you could heart up when you needed, and you could buff up when you needed.
Yeah, I mean that's what I try and do as much as possible.
But in practice, you can get foods that buff you and give you hearts and use them even when you're at full health because there's plenty to go around, really. It's just that
far too much.
It's just that, like Zeg saying, psychologically it's like, no, I'm wasting this. I could wait until I'm half dead before I use
it. I kind of feel like they should have made a hard distinction between food and elixirs and made it so you couldn't eat food unless you were out of combat or like sitting down or something.
But you could do it any time.
It's real dumb how you could just, I'm just going to pause. I've been ragdolled. Let me pause and eat the entire food and all my health come back.
Yeah.
Or I'm halfway out. I'm clinging to the side of a sheer cliff. Let me eat this meal that gives me stamina.
More stamina. So I can keep climbing. Yeah, that was cool.
It's kind of dumb. I would have preferred like if the elixirs were more like a Dark Souls thing where you could chug them, but it was an animation that happened during combat. But then like meals were purely restricted to out of combat or something.
Maybe
would have made it more difficult, but
would have made it harder, but it might have made it cooler. But it's pretty hard already in places. So yeah. So then I stocked up on provisions basically through finding all of that shit, and now I'm just going to walk back there every single time. And then the only thing I was lacking in terms of provisions was, of course, arrows, because I had fuck all arrows. But then when you go up to Zora's domain,
same problem that I had.
But when you go up to Zora's domain, like every single enemy on the path to Zora's domain drops arrows. So then you're sorted, because like I went from 10 to like 100 arrows. So can't I just farm that area whenever I run out of arrows?
What I've been doing to farm for arrows is I go back to the Great Plateau and just run all the shitty red bokoblins in the towers. Because they all drop arrows as well. You only get like 100 from clearing all of the little encampments on the Great Plateau, but it's real easy.
Right.
Even when some of the enemies start leveling up later on, but not enough to be a threat.
Why? Because the chests contain arrows, do they? Is that right?
The chests don't respawn, but like all the
enemies
tower, all the like the red bokoblins on the towers that die in one hit.
Right.
Providing they don't start firing, I think they're almost always guaranteed to drop. And all the wooden crates on the plateau as well. Break those and they usually have some number of arrows in.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay, that's good to know as well. So I think I'm pretty set in terms of basic stuffs.
You'll definitely run out of arrows again. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, well, I started using it to hunt deer or whatever because I discovered that you could cook the prime meat and make money that way.
Sure.
But I ran out of deer for in the
That's
place
another
I was
one of my
hunting.
psychological problems where it's like I'm still hoarding everything, and I'm like, I need money, but I don't want to sell you any of this shit. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm Richard.
like I was getting loads of those like glowing rocks or whatever. They're labeled as like
The
luminous rocks.
stones.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, do I need these? I'm just gonna sell some.
I'd keep those if I were you.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, you know how you must have seen, because you've been to Zora's Domain, you've seen the guy in there who'll trade you 10 luminous stones for a diamond.
Oh, I must have missed that guy. No.
Oh yeah, talk to the Zora. There's a dude there. So basically, luminous stones turn into diamonds, and obviously diamonds are way more important than luminous
Oh
stones.
shit. Okay, I'll pay attention to that one because I managed to get enough money to buy the Sheikah stealth armor, which is pretty cool. But yeah.
Did you go around and pick up all 3 parts of the Zora armor?
No. Oh no. Where? Maybe I did. Where'd you get those?
You get one of them from the king, right? He gives you the
chest.
tunic,
Yeah.
and
The one that
then-
lets you climb the waterfalls in that insane way.
Yeah, swim directly up waterfalls.
Yeah.
I don't remember where the legs are from, but then like there's like a side quest in the Zora's area. Oh, I don't know if it even gives it to you as a side quest. There's just like lore. Did you read like the text on the walls?
Yeah, some of them.
There's one of those that has like a hint of where the helmet is, and then you just go get it.
Okay, I missed that one. Oh, I did like reading those sort of runes on the walls. That was kind of cool.
But
Yeah.
you
So
know,
anyway-
you want the armor sets, all the armor sets.
Yeah, so basically that's where I am. I just finished Zora's Domain and did the boss and put the thing down, and I haven't played it since. But I will get back on it once things have calmed down a bit.
Yeah. Zora's Domain is, well, out of the 3 that I've seen, that might be still the best one.
It's pretty
The
fun.
Divine Beast / areas.
Yeah, I enjoyed the getting into the beast part, even though the voice acting's annoying. Because the character's cool, and generally, like, I like the prince guy.
Yeah.
But
With
then,
his cheesy grin.
yeah, with his cheesy grin with the little sparkle. Yeah, that's super awesome. But then the moment he starts talking in English, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
lame.
When it's not just text.
Yeah. But yeah, that was quite fun. And it was a nice little dungeon. It took me a while to work out moving controlling the. Well, actually, what happened was I didn't solve the puzzle that actually right in the first room that gave me control of the thing.
You
so
wandered,
that was
you
annoying.
wandered around for
Yeah.
like not without getting the map, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could do like multiple puzzles without getting the map.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to do this? But yeah, I got the map. So
Do what it tells you.
yeah, it did tell me up front, and I was like, yeah, fine. Yeah. Cool. How about you? Oh, by the way, my brother has like basically done everything apart from fighting Ganon, as far as I could tell, because he's not
Sure.
working at the moment. And he gave me, I haven't tried it yet, but he gave me, he got a thing on his phone, on his Android phone, that allowed him to write amiibo data onto blank cards.
Fake amiibos.
What?
So he's given me a whole pack of fake amiibos, which I haven't tried.
What?
So I have here labeled Wolf Link, 8-bit Link, Link Skyward Sword, Link Majora, brackets Fierce Deity, SSB Link, what would that be? Twilight
Smash Brothers.
Epona.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Smash
Super
Brothers,
Smash Brothers Link. Yeah.
Super Smash Brothers Toon Link, Wind Waker. Yeah. Link Ocarina of Time, Super Smash Brothers Sheik, and Toon Zelda. They're the ones that I have in the form of plastic cards, like credit cards. Anyway, so I will see if they work.
Right.
So you can jiff it real good. I mean, not just the
In
fake
theory.
amiibos, but also the game.
Does it
There are
just the
some,
game?
there's some,
But you go get free stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I suppose.
like fish rain from the sky.
It's basically cheat mode.
I don't know. Anyway, so I will see. I have a full set of cheats, so I will see about you. I probably won't use them. I'm probably going to get a Pona, though. Although the horses aren't even that useful. Anyway.
No, that's the thing about the horses. Like, they have the cool horses, and like they have the autopilot, and like if you put a horse on a road, it just follows the road, and it's really cool.
Mm.
And it's just like, but you just can't teleport everywhere.
I felt a bit
Kind
bad
of-
leaving my horse just in the village just forever.
Yeah, just. Well, I mean, you can if you just go to a stable, you can put it back in the
Yeah,
stable. and
but it
goes
doesn't
away.
mind, though, does it? I did do
No,
that
of
in the
course
end
not.
because I felt guilty, but it doesn't mind, does it?
No, the horse will just stand there forever until you come back. Or you can just go to a stable and pull out another horse, and somehow that other horse gets pulled back in.
Right. Oh, okay. That's good to know.
I would have preferred it if it didn't. If you could just leave horses everywhere, that would make it actually more convenient.
Oh right, I see.
There's quite a few stables.
Whistle them.
Yeah, there are quite a few stables.
They don't just appear like in Red Dead. There's a specific thing where it says, if you're out of range, the horse is not going to be able to hear you. It's not magic,
and it's a real short range as well. It kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I wish it was a bit longer.
I thought that was quite funny because they were clearly taking the mick out of like Red Dead or probably other games.
Or practically any other overworld game where that has happened before.
Yeah.
Horse whistling.
It's not magic, you know?
Yeah.
Where it just appears from off camera.
Yeah, well, that is the other thing about it. It's like when you do whistle it in this game and it's in range, it does actually have to navigate the terrain to you.
Yeah, it's
by itself.
Pathfind to you rather than just teleporting somewhere where you can't see.
Although on the plus side, you can, if you whistle and it's in range and it triggers, you can keep moving and it will still come to you.
Yeah.
So like you can keep running while it's catching up to you and then just jump on when it gets to you, so you don't even have to wait.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is kind of nice. But again, irrelevant. Horses are hella irrelevant.
So what do you want to chat about?
Well, I wanted to talk about, a variety of stuff, but one thing I definitely want to remember to talk about while the thought is in my head, I wanted to talk about the really terrible bug with the blood moon.
Right.
And I didn't realize, this was one of those things where the bug was happening to me and I didn't know it was a bug and I just thought it was weird, and then eventually it happened so much I was like, hang on a minute, there's got to be something wrong, so I had to go look it up.
What's the deal?
So basically, I mean, you know about the blood moon, obviously.
I know about the blood moon, yeah.
I
know that you
long
can
enough for that to happen.
if you cook food during the blood moon, it gives you more health and shit.
Yeah, weird effects. And there's a few other places where blood moons are important. But yeah, so the blood moon is basically their weird in-world lore excuse for respawning enemies.
Respawning enemies, yeah.
The blood moon happens and all the enemies come back to life. Good times. It's not even really, it mentions it's sort of Ganon's power, but it's not really Ganon's power, it's just the blood moon. I don't know. So yeah, so that's how that happens, the blood moon. And it's a really annoying sequence, which you can luckily skip.
Oh, you can skip it. Okay.
You have to hit different buttons. Normally X is skip, but in the blood moon sequence, you have to push X and then plus, or plus and then X to actually get it to do it.
Oh shit! I needed to know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's very useful to be able to skip that because it's quite annoying. It's a weird Nintendo reference, but it's like Castlevania 2. It's a terrible night to have a curse. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Where that text box comes up and stops the game for a minute. It's basically that. They went well old school in that blood moon sequence. But yeah, so the bug with it is that the blood moon is meant, I don't know if it's on a cycle or whether it is somewhat random. People have speculated the more enemies you kill, the more likely the blood moon is to rise because, they want to repopulate the world at a certain point, I guess. But so the blood moon is meant to happen on a specific night, and you can, when the moon starts to rise, you can see it's the blood moon because it's red, but the actual event of the blood moon respawning enemies doesn't happen until midnight. So it's you have some time, I guess, to get the fuck out of the way if you're in a place where a lot of enemies just were, I suppose. Right. You'll be standing directly next to them when they all respawn. You can run away a bit. So there's that. But the bug with it is that if you leave the game running and put the Switch in sleep mode, the game is in sleep mode and the system is in sleep mode, essentially. During
the blood moon kind of...
Not during the blood moon, just playing the game at all.
Right.
Somehow that fucks with the game's internal clock and it really fucks up the blood moon. The blood moon can happen on... If you don't close the game, go back to the home menu and then hit close, and if you put the system in sleep...
That's what I always do.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing, which is why this bug happened to me a lot. The blood moon gets all fucked up. It's somehow it fucks with the game's internal clock or something, and it screws up how it triggers the blood moon. So you can have the blood moon happen on consecutive nights. You can have the blood moon happen multiple times in one night.
Right.
Like, there was literally a time, one of the earlier times this happened before I realised it was a bug. I killed a small group of enemies. I was walking away from them. The blood moon happened, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's annoying." But I guess I could go back and kill them again and get some more resources. And then I went and did that. And then, as I was walking away from them again, blood moon happened again. I was like, "What?
What?
I mean, at that time I thought that was just like, if you continue to kill stuff during the blood moon night, they'll just keep respawning, and it's kind of awkward that it has to play the sequence every time.
Oh, right.
But that's not what that was. That was the bug. And so the time it actually happened and then convinced me to where I was like, this can't be right, was like, I was doing a side quest where I had to carry a thing from point A to point B, and there was a bunch of enemies. And as I was going to start clearing out the enemies, I was like, well, this will be annoying if a blood moon happens. But then a blood moon happened before I'd actually started, and I was like, oh, sweet, that will give me at least one clear day, because the blood moon surely can't happen again immediately after this blood moon that's just happened. So then I started clearing out all these enemies, and I got towards point B, and then when I was about to pick up the thing and start bringing it back, and the blood moon happened again. And I was like, fuck this shit! And then I went to look it up, and it's like, oh yeah, it's a bug. A real bad bug. So make sure you occasionally close the game and from the home screen on the Switch. So basically, when you launch it, as long as you see the title screen where it says like continue or whatever, make sure you've actually closed the game and had it exit out and all that stuff.
Bloody hell. Okay. I'll watch out for that one.
Yeah, it sucks. Although I guess if you want to harvest resources, you could maybe exploit it. Because as I said, you can kill enemies and have them respawn within like 10 seconds while they're practically on top of you. And it also apparently that bug also screws with a few other things, like the dragons, like the spawn timing for the dragons can get fucked up as well.
Fucking hell, I haven't met any dragons yet, no.
Well, you might have seen one. I don't know if you would have. They fly in the sky. They're like quite large. So you can.
What, like Skyrim style?
Not like Western dragons. They're more like Eastern dragons.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll watch out for those.
Yeah, there's quests related to those later, of course. I mean, why wouldn't there be? They're fucking giant dragons.
What? So they don't have wings, or?
No, they just levitate or whatever.
Right.
They just jiggle their way through the sky, and then go into space in the morning.
Okay.
I've been very tempted to try and follow them because they have like an area of effect, like wind around them that allows you to glide for longer. And I think sometimes, like, I'm not sure
you
what
can glide into their influence. And
you can glide in their zone of influence. Because I mean, it's kind of what you have to do for the quest related to.
Oh, I see.
But like, and I think
amazing.
I think it also like somehow restores your stamina sometimes. I'm not sure what the exact mechanic is because like you can like put the paraglider away and then pull it out again, and it just restores your stamina for no apparent reason. I guess to make it easier to do the thing that you have to do, because then you don't have to worry about stamina management while you're doing it. But I was wondering what would happen if you tried to follow one of those dragons when it flies into space in the morning. Like if you stayed in the wind zone and just let it carry you upwards, would you be able to follow it all the way up?
That'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty cool. I might have to try that one time if I see one of those dragons again at an appropriate place.
You can go up and get the shooting stars where they come from.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what is up there? There's got to be something, surely. That's one of the things about this game. You think you can do it, then you can do it. Surely you can do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done 3 of the 4 Divine Beasts now.
Cool.
The whole Zora thing was probably still the coolest. Although, like,
which direction did you go? Because I heard that going around kind of anti-clockwise makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
That was sort of I tried not to do that. Like, I wanted to go to the Rito one second, but it was just too hard over there.
Right.
Except it's weird. It's like the enemies are a lot harder over there, but the weapons that the Rito weapon set basically are real shit. And it's like, this seems weirdly like not aligned correctly.
Okay.
And I mean, I guess it's the case for all of these. You could just get on a horse and just gallop past everything. Just go straight to the Divine Beast, because the actual, like, I guess the Ganon boss fight sub-boss things aren't actually that difficult, relatively speaking.
That's on purpose, I think, yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so I did do it in more or less an anti-clockwise direction.
Well, I want to go to the woods or whatever.
Yeah,
next.
including the Master Sword.
Yeah.
They got a hold of that.
Is it any good?
Don't have to explain in detail.
Or do you want me to explain these actual mechanics of the Master Sword?
Probably not.
I think Dan will want to keep that.
Yeah.
I don't really want to know, in fairness.
Well, I mean, in terms of a number on the weapon, it's a 30.
Right. Okay.
So it's pretty good. For
It
one
took me
weapon.
ages to work out on the menus what the numbers were, because it's the number, so it shows with a little arrow, so it shows what number you're currently at and what you're going to go to. And I was like, well, why does it say 5 and then it says 6? And it's like, presumably your base level of armor is 1 or something.
Yeah,
And that's
it's not very clear.
It's not clear at all. And I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't work it out. But I think that's it, right? So
Yeah, your base numbers are basically 0.
right.
So when you're equipping different weapons, if it's a bigger number, that's just a better weapon than whatever you're holding. And then on armor, it's like if the number is bigger, then the piece that you're replacing is worse than the one that you're wearing.
Mm.
But yeah, so I did quite a lot of that. I was kind of disappointed by the Rito section because they don't seem to have much going on.
Oh.
It's in terms of story and stuff, it seems kind of not very much there. And they had a good
bloke, the Rito of the birds.
Yeah,
right?
the dude with the accordion.
The dude with the accordion's awesome.
He's awesome.
I've met him twice. Yeah.
Yeah. He's and also he plays opponent's song. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah. And so he seems to hang around sort of shrine quests. So I've met him in a couple of places. He
gives you the hints for the shrine for those shrine quests.
Yeah. And I've got his main song in my head all the time as well. His accordion.
Yes, exactly.
One.
The one that you hear while you're solving those puzzles.
Yeah. Which neither of which I've managed to solve yet. Because the one where I went hunting is the one where you have to ride a stag basically, but I can't do it. I haven't. I tried eating stamina increasing foods twice, but I still didn't have enough stamina.
Yeah, I had a problem with that with a horse as well. But I'm not necessarily sure that having more stamina
helps
is actually necessarily the thing you need.
What
I think you just need to mash the button really fast.
Right. I was.
It's I don't think I've managed to succeed on doing one of those button mashing things where I haven't taken my hands entirely off the controller, turned it around, and very specifically mashed the L button as hard as I can with a finger. Not natural pose mashing. You need to turn it around and get your finger directly on that thing.
Right. Yeah. I think that's probably what I'm doing wrong.
Seems a bit excessive.
Yeah.
I mean, probably if you had a ton of stamina, you could still get it a normal way because it clearly drains your stamina. That's clearly
definitely drains your stamina. Yeah.
There's clearly a time limit to that before you get chucked off.
But I think maybe it just keeps draining it forever if you're not tapping fast enough.
Yeah, you just need to mash it real hard. And I'm not sure whether there's how many, is it a number of button pushes? Do you have to do it at a certain speed?
Just not sure.
Yeah,
I liked in Red Dead the horse taming was a kind of Tony Hawk's,
right?
No, it was like a balance Tony Hawk style balance on a rail type thing. Sure. I think, wasn't it? Where you had to keep it. Yeah, I quite like those. I think it was like that. Anyway.
Yeah. But that guy's cool, but he's the coolest Rito. All the ones in the town were kind of generic and not very interesting.
That's a shame.
5 children, I guess, they were okay. But that whole section with their divine beast is you turn up and you just basically go do it. It seems a bit they didn't expand that very much.
Because the Zora one, it's it's raining everywhere and you can't climb the cliffs. Because
you have to go get shock arrows and you have to fight the Lionel and there's a whole sub quest to that, I guess.
Although
there still is a Dorito thing, but not as extravagant, I don't think.
I just snuck around and stole all those arrows without fighting.
Oh yeah, I guess you don't have to fight that guy.
Yeah.
Those guys are kind of cool to fight once you understand how to fight them.
Right.
Because especially when you first go to Zora's domain and there's that he can totally one shot you so easily and all that at that point in the game.
Yeah.
But once you get a hang of their attack patterns, the trouble with them is they're one of the things that has a shit ton of health. So it's I'm going to break 2 weapons on this one guy, at least.
Yeah. That is a pain. I still haven't fought one of the Stone Talus guys. I just ran away from them so far.
Yeah, I ignored a few of those, but I don't know if it's like a random element or whether it's specific, but like the ones where the thing you have to hit spawns on top of them, they're well easy. But if it's like on the back, it's really awkward to actually be able to hit.
Right.
Because when it spawns on top, you just climb on them and you just stand there and wail on it for a minute until they try and chuck you off. Makes it much easier. Yeah, so that's I think that like sometimes those are cool. Like I guess you'd call them mini bosses almost. They're like the big enemies of the world. The ones that have the ones like the Stone Taluses that actually have a real like UI health bar, not a enemy health bar.
Yeah.
And there's did you do the side quest out of the Zora's Domain where you have to go and kill the Hinox?
No, I haven't done that one.
That's basically
enough people in Zora's
That's
Domain.
basically another one of those, like a little mini boss thing.
Cool.
They're quite cool.
Well,
and
I'm
they
still
also
in
play...
Zora's Domain, so I'm going to walk around and talk to everyone.
Yeah, go talk to some more people.
Yeah.
The Hinoxes also play. I can't remember which song it is, but it has. Well, I mean, this game does this, but it's one of the classic Zelda tunes, but in a nice orchestral remix with trumpets.
Yeah. Trumpets.
That's what you want.
I do like all the little stings of, even in the shrine music, you occasionally get the occasional sting of something old.
Yeah, it's from. I think the shrine music is like it has bits
Ocarina
that
stuff. I'm sure
based on one of the handheld games. I think it might have been the first one.
Link to the Past.
What's it called? Link's
No,
Awakening.
Link's Awakening. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it might be some music from there.
I like Link's Awakening. Yeah.
And I know that the Rito Town music is a remix of something, but I can't remember what the fuck it is. It's really annoying.
Well, the Rito we're only in Wind Waker,
Wind Waker.
So I don't know if it's from there.
I don't think it is. It seems like an Ocarina one. I just can't remember which one it is. It was really annoying me because I know this tune. Goron City doesn't have the Goron City music though, and I was slightly disappointed. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting bongos.
Yeah. Stephen, I haven't got there yet, but Stephen has said it's annoying. I mean, I was complaining about the voice acting, and Stephen was like, "There's a Goron guy who's just an American dude," and it's like,
yeah, I guess the main Goron dude that you have to do with the Divine Beast or whatever.
Yeah,
his voice is quite dumb for a Goron.
God damn it! Oh well,
it's not gravelly enough.
No.
I mean, that's what you'd expect Gorons to sound like.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Of course.
What, like Liam Neeson?
Yeah, gravelly. Literally. Gorons have weird faces in this game.
What's that?
Gorons have like slightly weird faces.
Yeah, they're a bit strange.
Is there like weird like irises that are like super size changey? Like, I guess you don't notice it unless they emote while you're talking to them. But like their irises can be huge or tiny, and it looks like changes so much. And they have a dramatic mouth, funny gums.
Check out my dramatic mouth.
Funny.
I learnt this in acting school.
Yes, it's very dramatic. So yeah. I can't remember if there was anything else. Just that Blood Moon bug was the main thing I wanted to talk about.
There'll be more stuff next time anyway.
I did want to mention also, like, how there's that menu option for ability controls where it shows you the tooltips for the specific abilities.
Right, I haven't toggled that, I don't think.
Well, yeah, it's just in the menu. There's no reason for you to even think to go and look there, but it's there. It's just like a list. It's basically what I keep asking for in games, where it's a list of the tips.
Yeah, I did find it. Yeah, that is good, actually. I only found it the other day, and it's like...
Sure.
Yeah.
And, like, the weird thing about it is, it only shows you ones you've discovered.
Right.
Like, it won't tell you about shield surfing until you've shield surfed, which is kind of awkward in terms of a tutorial, because it's not, essentially.
It's a reminder.
Yeah, it's a reminder, not a tutorial. And I'm not sure...
That's kind of cool, though, in a game like this, surely.
Sure. It's like, I'm not sure where you're meant to learn shield surfing.
There's a place on the...
Those guys on the hill, right?
Yeah, on the hill, yeah. So I found those guys.
Does that...
but I don't know. I definitely had the tutorial in that menu after I'd done that, but I don't know if it triggered it.
Yeah, was that like? Did it pop up at that point? That's what I was wondering.
I don't know.
Like those guys were, and there are a few other people I've seen around talking about shield surfing. So I think there's
Right.
other places where it happens, and people are clearly aware of the concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bit in the tips menu doesn't appear until you've done it, which is a weird telling you after the fact the thing that you
Because it's quite a weird combo of controls, I think. Or no,
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it makes sense, but like I knew that you could do it from the trailers, so I
Sure,
did it
yes.
early on. But I was like, how the fuck do I do this? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I never remember in a pinch if I need to. I basically have no. In fact, I'm still not that great with the controls, to be honest. I don't know why. I'm always pressing the wrong button, even
takes
now.
a lot of getting used to. Still,
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
But the other weird thing about that ability controls menu is there's still, even at the point I'm at, there's still 2 blanks in there. There's still 2 things I haven't done. Like, what are those? Will the game ever tell me them, or will I have to just like mash buttons until something interesting happens?
There's probably an ability like in Ocarina where you get those light boots at the end. There's probably something you only get for the last dungeon or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that would probably be one of them, like some kind of secret, like light arrows or something.
Yeah.
There's another one. I was definitely thinking about just standing in a field and trying to hit random buttons to see if something interesting happens. Like, what if you charge a spin attack and then push jump? Because that would make sense. It'd be like Smash Bros. You go up, right?
Yeah. The helicopter effect into the sky. And if you then flew into a wall, does that mean you could climb it from a slightly higher starting point?
Yeah, exactly. Although,
Just a spin attack. The spin attack burns your stamina, doesn't it? Or...
yeah, a lot severely.
Yeah.
Kills your stamina off real quick. I mean,
You
no
could just
spoilers.
eat something instantly.
Yes, you could. No spoilers, but like Dan, you've got the Zora power from the end of the Zora thing, right?
Yeah, I haven't used it yet though. I guess it's
Okay.
like having a fairy, but
it's
it
basically an
recharges.
Uber fairy.
Right.
But so yeah, each of the races has one of those, as you might have been able to guess.
Yeah.
And the Goron one is kind of I mean, it's nice, but I like. Well, basically, the Zora one and the Goron one, I just turned off because I think they're kind of overpowered.
Ah, okay.
Like, I already wasn't eating food, and now I have a thing where I don't even have to worry about dying. I'll just turn that off.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
But then, like, once I got to the Rito one, that's the hot shit. That's the one you want.
That's the best one, is it? Okay.
Well, I
I'm
haven't
looking forward to that old shit.
I haven't got the Gerudo one yet, so I don't know what that is. But
Okay.
the Rito one is clearly that one I'm keeping on.
Right. Okay. Cool. That's Zelda.
Yep.
Uh,
There's still
and
more to play. Quite a lot more.
Plenty more.
I still haven't been to the Gerudo Desert or the
Mhm.
second area of the Gerudo Desert. And I haven't been to the jungle down the other side of the bottom of the map.
Really?
Yeah.
How many hours are you putting into this and you still haven't done those things?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Obscene.
Zelda, and I think that'll do it for this podcast. I think.
Yeah,
Unless,
I think so.
Yep. So we'll
We had
catch
no
you.
random section this week. But
Doesn't matter. We had
yeah.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So
We didn't even regiment random.
We didn't even get to talk about your funny gums again.
Yeah, and my double trip to the hygienist
Yep.
and how horrible that is.
Yep.
Horrible.
I think we dodged a bullet there.
Also, corrections from last week.
Yeah.
Not all hygienists and dentists are weird people. I'm pretty sure.
Did we say that?
I'm pretty sure we alluded to that last time.
Hygienists are genuinely weird.
There we go.
Okay,
Aren't they?
Dan is unconvinced.
Mine's quite nice.
Oh, cool.
She just rips apart my face until it bleeds profusely.
Quite nice.
Yeah.
Quite nice.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing I wanted to say is I got tickets to go see was it the Final Fantasy orchestral performance they're doing at the Albert Hall
Nice.
in November.
Sweet.
So that'll be
So
fun.
record it on your phone. Bring it back here and play it for us.
yeah. Apparently it's quite cool because it's like Nobuo Uematsu, the main composer. He doesn't actually have much to do with this, but he's there at every single one of these. Like he just sort of hangs out.
He just takes a holiday wherever they have to be performing.
So that's kind of cool. So, all right, yeah, I'll be.
You'll be in the same room as that guy.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, you might see him. You know, you might stand up and be like, "Hey, I'm here."
I guess he might.
Yeah, so that would be cool. He's a legend. And it's like you never quite. Apparently, they randomize each of these shows a little bit, so you're never quite sure which.
Random battle system.
Yeah, exactly. You're never quite sure which set of music you're going to get, but that's kind of part of the fun of it. It's like apparently
you just have to hope you don't get any of the bad ones.
Yeah, well,
you have to hope you don't get all Final Fantasy 13.
Well, 13 would be fun to see what they did with it, like with an orchestra.
Sure, but those aren't the tracks of Final Fantasy you want to hear.
No,
you want to hear the classics.
Well, yeah, I know they've like irritatingly. I think they fairly recently did. I can never remember the exact name. I think it's Liberi or Liberty Fatalis, the main theme from FF8. And it's like, which is awesome. I love that track. And it's like, but apparently they did that fairly recently.
So you won't be hearing.
Probably won't get that. Yeah.
You don't want that. You want like Man with the Machine Gun. Or the normal fight music, either of those.
I think the Man with the Machine Gun actually comes up quite regularly, so there's a good chance. There's a good chance we'll get that. But then also, it's an orchestral version, right? Because Man with the Machine Gun's a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah,
but that's why you want to hear it, though. That's why you want to hear the orchestral version. You want to hear how they do it.
But that's not till November. But I'm still pretty hyped.
It's a long time to be hyped.
I know. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's like it makes the end of the year quite exciting because EGX in October.
Nothing else is going to happen.
EGX in October, and then stuff in this in November, and Scorpio is going to happen. So
and the whole shit ton of games, presumably.
Which I'm still not getting. Decided not getting.
Okay.
We don't even know what it is, but I'm not getting it. I don't need it.
Okay.
That was all I really wanted to add. That was my gaming, not gaming game news.
Yeah,
update.
Small amount of random.
Yeah, random at the end. Okay, we'll have a bit more random at the start next time.
Probably.
Cool.
Well, and hopefully I'll be able to hear by next week.
I can't believe that's still going on.
I still can't hear.
Get it fixed.
Well, I did. I went back to the doctor and they said wait up to 4 weeks from now.
I hate that because they can just do it instantly.
Well, they didn't want to do mine because apparently there is a risk of perforating your eardrum when they syringe it. And they looked at
there's a risk that they're sticking fucking things in your ear.
Yeah, and when they looked at me, they were basically like, "Well, there's nothing actually technically wrong with your ear. You've got a very healthy looking ear, so we don't want to actually add risk where it's not necessary. Come back in 4 weeks, and if it's still boned."
Yes,
then we'll do it.
That is the classic doctor problem. You go in there and they're like, this is not actually a problem that we care enough about yet.
It's not risky enough. Well, apparently, and the other thing was that I think maybe I've drawn a bit of bad luck that apparently my surgery has had exactly that happen quite a lot recently.
If you're in America, they'd be worried about being sued.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that it was on their minds a bit. Was the impression I got. So never mind. I've drawn a bit of a short straw there, but nothing seems to be happening, and it's really annoying.
Make sure you sleep with that side
down, I guess. Yeah.
I would have said up.
What?
If you're lying on it, you're like
let it
compressing
go more
it
in?
and like closing the ear canal.
I don't know, man.
I don't think you compress the canal when you lay on your ear, right?
You'd be surprised how much squidging goes on when you're like on one side of your head.
You'll be that's okay. That's the takeaway from this episode.
It's
like last
you'd be surprised
week
how much squidging goes on.
Yeah. Last week it was that's chemistry. This week it's
that's going to be your blurb on the website.
This week it's don't underestimate squidging.
Okay. Catch you next time, listeners, in a couple of weeks for more of season 8 of the Saladcast.
Oh, have we got a theme tune pick? Are you going to pick one?
That's your job.
All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.